has officially begun. The road to $10,000 runs through the Brickyard. This is round number 11 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're getting ready to go at it at the Brickyard for 100 laps this evening. Tim Terry and Joe Cortez here with you. And Joe, this is a race that everybody circles on their calendar. It's the Brickyard. Everybody wants to win here, but it's been dominated in the last 5 seasons by 2 drivers. 2 drivers have won here twice. Brad Davies has won the first 2 rounds that we were here, and then Ray Alfala's won 2 of the last 3 races. We've been to the Brickyard. The other winner, of course, John Adams, and he is not in the series in 2015. But for Ray Alfala, they're all chasing Kenny Humpy. Can Ray Alfala win this tonight, Joe, and try to get himself a little bit closer to a 3rd title?
Well, let's not fix any words here. Ray Alfala is a threat to win at any particular track, but Indianapolis is a track that he is known to be a threat for. It's why the team is so anxious about him racing here tonight, because they know that he's got an excellent shot at winning at this track. And if memory serves me correctly, in the 2013 campaign, it was Ray Alfala who won this race here and used it as a turning point for his season, to challenge all the way up to the last race of the season at Homestead Miami Speedway to challenge for the championship. Now, obviously, he didn't win that year because of a miscalculation on fuel, but nonetheless, he was in it all the way at the end because he won here tonight. So, if you're Ray Alfala, this is a win-or-go-home race. If you can win here tonight, you are still viable, a viable opportunity to be the first only 3-time champion in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. If you do not win here tonight, you're going to be looking at a very long season and basically start looking for 2016.
Well, when you look at the standings, we'll pop those up now. The trophy engraver may already have HU on the trophy for this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Kenny Humpy has a 107-point advantage on Ray Alfala, with the drop factored in. Chad Lawton, Chris Overland, Brian Blackford, your top 5. The Last Row Motorsports, Slip Angle Motorsports team excelled at Kentucky a couple of weeks ago. Ray Alfala, Chris Overland, Brian Blackford, PJ Sturgis, 6th in the standings, and a couple of others if you go through the list as well. Well within a top 20 position to lock themselves into this series for the 2016 season. Patrick Crabtree's been strong this season. Of course, the team has been the story. Kenny Humpy is leading the standings. Cody Bias, Justin Bolton, Kevin Kane complete your top 10. There's a couple of teams that have been strong this season, but 2 weeks ago, Joe, it wasn't the story of the team or LRM or Slip Angle Motorsports. It was Corey Vincent going to victory lane.
That's right. At the 1.5 mile at Kentucky Speedway, the circuit's roughest track, there was a lot of odds-on favorites that are going to try to walk away with that title. Kenny Humpy was one of them. Nick Ottinger, who was yet to get a win here in 2015, was one of them. Ray Alfala was even leading the race at one point at Kentucky. But it was a guy who has not had a win here yet. That ended up walking away with that win. Corey Vincent walked with his first NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series win at arguably the hardest racetrack to win at. It'll give him some boost confidence here tonight, which he will need, because Indianapolis is unlike any other track we see on the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series circuit.
And we've seen a couple of first-time winners this season, Corey Vincent and, of course, Alan Bowes at Pocono. When you think back to Pocono, you think John Adams won at that racetrack. He won here as well. Could this be another surprise? Maybe if it comes down to fuel mileage and strategy for a guy like Alan Bowes to open up the gate once again. Alex Warren, not a first-time winner this season, but more of a surprise winner once again on fuel mileage. But when you look at the starting grid, obviously Ray Alfala and Nick Ottinger are going to be 2 tough customers to beat this evening. They're going to start in the front row. But Alan Bowes going to start in 7th. Great qualifying effort for him. Corey Vincent going to start in position number 5. Taylor Hurst, who's been strong these last couple of weeks, Joe, going to start in position number 10. You look on back through the field, there's a couple of drivers that maybe did not qualify the way they wanted to. Tyler Hudson in provisional land back in position number 38. There's a few drivers back there that are going to have their work cut out for them. over these 100 laps. But we saw last week with the B Series, this is a big racetrack. It's a long racetrack. These caution laps are long. It's either going to be a long race for some. It might even be a longer race for others. It all depends how we open this race, what the tempo sets, Joe. If we have a couple of cautions, this could be a longer haul for some of those drivers that are looking to make their way towards the front of the field.
Well, again, remember, this is an anomaly in all of racing. In NASCAR, in this sport, this track is an anomaly which is unlike anything we see during the normal progression of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. This is a 4-turn track, yes, as they usually are, but here it's a rounded oval, it's a rounded rectangle shape, is the best I can describe it. There's not nearly as much banking in all 4 turns as there normally would be at a NASCAR Big Antifreeze Series track. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 10, 12, 15, plus or minus. And there are chutes in between. There are straightaways between the turns. And so this track is nothing like anything these guys see. It's nothing that they can prepare for. All they can do is test their pure natural racing ability, hope for the best, and hope that tonight they can walk away kissing the virtual bricks at Indianapolis.
You see car number 2 heading his way towards the Speedway, and he will be the driver that has led this warm-up session. Starts in the pole here this evening. Ray Alfala going to be tough to beat here, but you go on through the list. There's a lot of drivers. Trey Hudson had a pretty good qualifying run. He'll start in position number 9. Cody Bias, solid qualifying run in position number 6. Kevin King within the top 10. Brad Mahar had a solid run last week before fuel mileage took over. He's going to start 11th. Michael Conti. He's had an up and down season, Joe. They're going to see if they can turn it around from position number 13 this evening. Byron Daly mid-pack starting, and the guy that's won 2 of these Indianapolis races that hasn't won in a little while, Brad Davies. He's going to start in position number 17. We'll see if that can turn around, and there's Kenny Humpy in the number 58, your point leader. Big lead. I talked to the team a little bit earlier. They're confident in their setup. They're not overconfident in their setup. And, of course, with the weather that has changed over this last couple of weeks, they didn't really know what to expect, Joe, when they came into the server. Respect to throw them a curveball as well. It might work into the favor of the team, and it might not.
It might not. It's very hard to say. You know, but that being said, the team is qualifying very well for the next race. Kenny Humpy is in qualified 4th. Cody Bias qualified 6th. Kevin King qualified 8th. So right there, you already have 3 of the team members in the top 10. And you know that if the opportunity presents itself early in this race, those three drivers will be working together as best they can in order to further themselves in this race. And hopefully what they want to do, I guarantee you what they want to do, is they want to take over as much of this race as humanly possible. What they want to do is they want to lead as many laps as humanly possible. They want to be in front of as many laps as humanly possible. And the more they can do that, the more they control from the onset, the better their odds will be in the end.
So we're going to step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll see how this plays out here this evening at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You're watching the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, round number 11. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this. I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Peak can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Getting ready to go racing for round number 11 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joe, warm-up just wrapping up, getting ready to go to the grid. What do you expect, and who do you expect to possibly be in victory lane in about 100 laps time?
What I expect is the longest 100 laps of everybody's, of every race we're going to see here all season long. 2.5 miles, 100 circuits all the way through. Get ready for some very long, exhausting racing, and whoever's going to win is going to win on endurance alone. My pick to win it, Nick Ottinger had a lot of confidence coming into tonight's race, sharing it on Twitter. Cody Bias had some confidence. Kenny Humphrey, of course, the odds-on favorite, but I'm going to pick Ray Alfalla for the comeback story for the year. He wins here tonight. He's still got a chance to catch Kenny Humphrey by the end of the season and make it a showdown at Homestead Miami Speedway when push comes to shove at the end of the year.
Yeah, we invite you to join the conversation on Twitter as well. Hashtag NPAS, NPAS, to get in on the conversation here this evening. We'll read some tweets throughout the evening. But it's time to go racing. 100 laps to run. Cars are beginning to grid, and we'll go down our starting lineup for this evening's race, the 6th edition of this race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it's Ray Alfalla in the 2 on the front row with a 48.23 in qualifying. On the outside, the 05 is Nick Ottinger.
PJ Sturgis, the 57 machine, will start position number 3. On the outside of him, the 58 of Kenny Humphrey, your current points leader, starts position 4.
Corey Vincent will try to pick up where he left off 2 weeks ago with position number 5 in the 10. To the outside, going to be Cody Bias in the 27.
Row number 4 will compose of one-time winner Callan Bose in position number 7. On the outside of him, teammate, the 29 of Kevin King, teammate of the team, I should say, Kevin King, the 29, starting 8th.
Field begins to roll. Going to be Trey Eidson on the inside in position number 9. Great qualifying effort for the 6. And great qualifying effort for the 74. Taylor Hurst, he'll start 10th.
Starting on row number 6 will be the 74 of Taylor Hurst. Check that'll be the 13 of Brad Mahar. Starting position number 11. Outside him being 34 of Matt Busa in 12th.
4 Series champion and Michael Conti will roll off position number 13. To the outside, Shane Doherty in the 91.
The 41 of Jake Sturgis will start position number 15. On the outside of him, the 24 of Nathan Wise start 16th.
Brad Davies will roll off in 17th. And to the outside, 93, Byron Daly.
Brian Day and Casey Tucker will round out row number 10 in the top 20 of the field.
We go back to 21st to find Michael J. Johnson in the 39 and Alex Warren on the outside in the 22 position.
In row number 12, the 89 of Landon Harrison starts on the inside, the 22 of Rob Ackley on the outside.
Guy coming into this race really confident. The double clutch Menards, number 47 of Chris Overland, starting deep in the field in 25th. Thomas Davis on the outside in 83.
Part-time racer Andy Vash III will start in position number 27. On the outside of him, the 38 of Ryan Lowe starts position number 28.
Your next row is Brandon Bowie and Tyler Hill.
Row 16, Brian Black for the inside, Brandon Schmidt on the outside.
T-Loff in the 51 and Alex Scribner in the 50.
Behind them, Patrick Crabtree, 35th, Tim Gilbert, 36th.
David Rattler in the 09, Tyler Hudson, 01.
Justin Bolton out of Gilliland will make up row 20.
And completing your field, 42 cars, Benjamin Burmeister in the 66, and Danny Hansen in the 32. Field rolls off corner number 4. Pace car is in. Ray Alfalla in command of the field, and here they come down the long front straightaway. Ray Alfalla waiting to fire here. Still waiting. Here they come. Green flag flies, and we are underway for round number 11 on the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Alfalla waited a long while, Joe, to fire. It looks like everybody else not going to stack up behind him as they go through the short chute.
No one's to stack up behind him. In fact, you're going to have to go all the way back to position number 6 to see 2 wide racing as the 27 of Cody Bias fights to get around the 21 of Alan Bose. He will do so. Behind them, the 14 and 6 will go side by side. Now here comes Kevin King, wants to hook up with his teammate as they go into turn number 3.
Looking back at that battle with Alan Bose and 29 and Kevin King on back through the field, we saw the beat collapse race here last week on Fan Choice TV. There was a sense of urgency, Joe, in the first couple of laps, especially on the restarts where everybody's bunched together. Go 2, 3 wide, maybe even block somebody down to the grass in the back straightaway. We're 3 wide here on the front straightaway now, with Taylor Hurst poking the nose on the inside of the 29 and the 21. They're going to go down to corner number 1, get it straightened out. The 74 going to gain a spot from Kevin King, going to cross him back over. I say sense of urgency, Joe. How much are we going to see from these guys to pick up these positions early and possibly create some issues on these restarts.
Let's see how many restarts we have to begin with. Last week it wasn't a horribly long yellow flag race. Last week and this week, it's not a. This week we might see something completely different. We'll see how it all pans out. But meanwhile, with two wide racing around the 74 and the 13, this could be a caution-littered race. We'll have to see how it kicks up later on.
Trey Eising gets a little push at a corner number 4, 74 first on the outside of him. Brad Mahar falls into line in the Tim's Corner Motorsports Infinite Creative Solutions number 13. He runs now behind the number 6. Trey Eising to the inside of the 74 first. He's going to try to work down the short chute, not going to get there, and here comes Conti. Great run early for Michael Conti, top 12 position right now. He's got Matt Busa to his rear bumper, and it looks like, Joe, he might just be riding right now in this little train that we have behind him. Brian Day going at it with, I believe that might be Michael J. Johnson. As they go too wide, Jake Sturgis a part of that battle as well, but it's now Taylor Hurst once again underneath the 6 of Trey Eising. They've been having a battle since we dropped the green flag about 2 3/4 laps ago.
I'll tell you, smart right now, you want to ride in that train. You want to ride as hard as you can in that train, single file, because it allows you to conserve your gear. It allows you to conserve the tires, it allows you to conserve the fuel, and it allows you to really set yourself up for what happens later on in the race. Taylor Hurst in the 74, the 6 Trey Eising, those guys aren't going nearly as hard. They're going too hard, I think. And as they go too hard, they're going to burn up the tires, they're going to burn up the fuel, and they're going to have to come down the road faster than anyone else, Tim, which could hurt them later on in this race.
Busa going to work to the inside. Here comes Day to the inside of him. 2 wide was almost 3 as they tried to put Mike Conti on the outside of this one. Here comes I believe that's the 11 of Brad Davies, also trying to make his way up through the field. He's in the top 15 early in this one. He's got the 4 and the 34 in front of him side by side. That is a battle for position number 12 as they work off corner number 4 and down the long front straightaway.
Let's go take a look at car number 4 and see what the performer Brian Day is doing as he tries to fight with a 34 behind him. Another fight brewing into turn number 1. The 39, the 11, the 24 almost make contact going into turn number 1 in the short chute. Now Brian Day looking for position on the 34 of Matt Busa side by side. No clear advantage of the 4, wiggles up, good pitch the 34 in, does not do it. Side by side, it's a drag race down the backstretch.
Behind that, Brad Davies had quite the moment in 1 and 2, and he has fallen back 2 positions. He's on the outside of the 47 of Overland. The 93 of Daly is there as well. He might find a spot in the line here. Brian Day picks up the spot that you were mentioning, Joe, and now behind them it is side by side with the 39 of Johnson, and it is the 34 of Busa now going backwards. Overland trying to give him a little bit of a jump. No, he's going to go to the inside with Nathan Wise, and they are going to try to pick up a couple of spots. So Davies was up front a little bit earlier. He falls back, and Busa looking to do the same thing here.
Busa looking for help, looking to try to make it work, but he's not going to happen. He's stuck on the outside as here comes the freight train, the 47 of Overland. He's going to try to get around him. The 11 of Brad Davies, he's going to push the issue as well. The 93 of Byron Daly going to try to get behind this 3-wide battle brewing. No, he's going to back off and let these guys cut it off. The 34 nowhere to go, so he's just going to go backwards.
Yeah, 34 continues to fall here. The 11 of Brad Davies now to the inside. He's found his footing on lap number 6. The 93 of Byron Daly up there as they have a moment in front of him between the 11 and the 34 as they drag race down the front straightaway. The 28 of Casey Tucker also looks on from just behind them. He's picked up a couple of spots and moved back up to 20th. Oh, the 11 sliding up the racetrack that he goes. And here comes Tucker, 34 crossover. We're 3 wide going down into 2.
Meanwhile, where did Casey Tucker come from? Casey Tucker jumps the entire field. Now he is side by side with the 34. And look who's behind him, the 41 machine. Madison, Jake Sturgis. They're both looking for something. The best battle right now is position number 18 and back as they are 2 by 2 going into the turn.
11 and 34 fighting like it's the last lap on lap number 7. The 11 going to try to clear him, drives it deep into the corner, and he is going to pick up the position for the time being. 34 and the 28 follow through as well. You look back, from the 11 of Brad Davies. You see the 89 of Landon Harrison hanging out on the outside of the number 41 back there as well. Jake Sturgis looking to fend off Landon Harrison. Harrison's on the move early in the Flam, number 89.
The number 89 trying to make a flam of his own as he continues to run with the help of Jake Sturgis in position number 21. The rest of the field, guys, is completely single file. Alfala, Ottinger, Sturgis, Humpy, Corey Vincent, all single file, and really no battles happening all the way back to the 89 or 41.
We're going to lay out for just a few moments so you can enjoy the sights and sounds of the Brickyard. We'll be right back. Enjoy a couple of laps around this place as Ray Alfala continues to lead. (34 and 11 continue to go side by side. That's for position number 17. And Joe, that battle continues on. Ray Alfala, yes, he continues to lead over Ottinger. PJ Sturgis is still in third. Kenny Humpy fourth. Corey Vincent fifth. In fact, the top 8 in the same positions that they started, though Corey Vincent is all over the back bumper of the 27 who just made that move for position number 5. But that battle back there around 20th continues to intensify.
You know, these guys are racing like they're racing position number 1 in the last 10 laps to go, which is exciting and a little bit scary at the same time. If you're out front in this race right now, if you're leading it, if you're Alfala, Nick Ottinger, PJ Sturgis, the last thing you want is to have your momentum crushed by somebody in position number 20 and back. But for Jake Sturgis, Casey Tucker, Brian Blackford, who's in that mix as well, they're just having a good time with it, and they're making sure that their voices are heard here at the Brickyard.
You got a 3-car battle here between the 10, the 21, and the 29. That's Kevin King as he chases down the 21, flashes the nose on the inside, and there he goes down the back straightaway. The 21 car of Alan Bowes on the outside going to lose that spot to Kevin King. And we'll see if King can work up on Corey Vincent. Vincent fell back in position a lap and a half ago to Cody Bias. So maybe Cody Bias, Kevin King, the two teammates, maybe they've got their cars set up for the longer run. And we'll see if Kenny Humpy can make any inroads on Ray Alfala near the front of the running order. Alfala continues to lead. It's about 0.8 of a second back to Kenny Humpy in 4th.
Meanwhile, back to speaking of Kenny Humpy, the 58 machine is going to pick up position on these 57 of PJ Sturgis. So Kenny Humpy moves himself up to position number 3, and now there's only 2 cars standing between him and the lead of this race. Nick Ottinger second, Ray Alfala position number 1 on this field. So Kenny Humpy slow to strike, but I think this is a very critical and sensitive move by Humpy in order to try to maximize his race car out there and maximize his opportunities to walk away with the win tonight.
And you know, Ray Alfala's out in front. He's leading this thing by about 3 car lengths over Nick Ottinger, and Kenny Humpy looks like he may begin to close here as that car gets a little bit better as we work on the run. But keep in mind, Ray Alfala trying to lead the most laps here this evening, I'm sure, to get that 1 bonus point. And you might think, okay, well, Kenny Humpy's got over a 100-point lead on Ray Alfala in the standings. But Joe, when you look back behind Ray Alfala, he can't afford to slip that way either, because if something happens and he has a bad run here tonight, I understand there is a drop in this series, but he's probably going to drop from 2nd place because he's got guys like Chad Lawton, Chris Overland, Brian Blackford, a couple of teammates of his own back there that are going to pounce if something does happen, that Ray Alfala has some sort of slip here this evening or through the rest of the season. Keep in mind, Watkins Glen is in 2 weeks.
Watkins Glen is in 2 weeks, and you want to talk about anomaly on the circuit. That is the biggest anomaly of them all. It's a road course. In fact, it's the only road course that we've ever run here in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. We began running it last season, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael Conti walked away with that win. And so it's still kind of different. It's still a different kind of race for these guys to take on. There's a lot of preparation that goes into something like that, but which also makes this race a whole lot more critical. If you do not perform here well here, and if you do not perform well in 2 weeks' time at Watkins Glen, your shot at $10,000 is going to go away very, very quickly.
I think Ray Alfala's car may have climaxed here in these last couple of laps because Nick Ottinger has closed the gap into about a half car length between himself and the leader, and Kenny Humpy is within a half second between him and Alfala for the lead position. I think Alfala's car, Joe, may have hit that peak, no pun intended, and now is starting to slow down a little bit through 14, 15 laps of this run. 50-63 last time by for Ray, 50-62 for Ottinger, and a 50-51 for Kenny Humpy. Humpy is the one of those top three that is on the move, and PJ Sturgis is back there as well in the 50-60 land, too, lap time wise. So most of these drivers about the same, but I think Ray, the last couple of laps, has lost a little bit of time to Nick Ottinger, Kenny Humpy, and the rest of the field, at least in the top five. We'll see how that shakes out over these next couple of laps. Still a long way to go in this one. When they hit the line, they'll have 85 to go.
Which means we still have a lot of racing ahead of us. A lot of green flag, long green flag runs, I got a feeling, as you see this 47 of Chris Overland make his way around the 5 of Michael Conti. Something happened to that 5 of Michael Conti. He was 11th just a lap ago, and now he's already let by Trey Eidson, Brian Day, Michael Johnson, Chris Overland. Michael Conti just dropped from 11th to 16th. In fact, he's going to drop another position one more time. So Michael Conti, last season's champion, something wrong with a 5 car. He's going to need to get it fixed in a hurry.
We see comers and goers, and you look at the 58 car, Kenny Humpy, looking up at the 05 of Ottinger. The 58 is definitely one of those cars that is coming towards the front of the field. Ottinger in the 05 may have got a little sideways on the last lap, and trying to get a better entry there into corner number 4. The 58 of Humpy chasing him down and trying to pick up position number 2. Last 5 laps, Humpy has been the fastest driver on the racetrack. Ottinger in the 05 has been consistent. We've seen Ray miss his marks on a couple laps in the last 5 or so, but it looks like, Joe, he has rebounded and picked up a little bit. He's at a 50-79 the last time by, and Humpy's at a 50-75, but he might be dealing with a little bit of that traffic as well. Lap 17 being worked on the board of 100. Top 3 within a half second of each other. PJ Sturgis comfortably in 4th, and then Cody Bias back there in position number 5.
So now the car that I'm watching the most is that 58 of Kenny Humpy. He was a handful of car lengths behind your 2 leaders, the 2 lead cars a few laps ago. Now he is about 2.5 car lengths away from the back bumper of the 05 Green Toyota of Nick Ottinger, which puts him in earshot of the 2 of Ray Alfala. If I'm Ray Alfala right now, I'm not nervous, but I am checking my rearview mirror every once in a while, especially on lap 18 here, to see just how close that 58 is. Or I'm asking my spotter, how close is that 58? Do I need to be worried about him just yet? Because he knows if the 58 gets close to him, if the 58 has a just as good a run, if not a better run than Ray, Ray's chance at walking away with championship number 3 are going to start setting very quickly. And in the great words of Elton John, Ray Alfala does not want to let the sun go down on him.
I think the 5 car were being reported that Michael Conti may have got the wall about 8 laps ago or so, and he's riding along back there in 17th place. Little side-by-side battle in front of him. Keep a half eye on that one. That's around Busa, Trey Eidson, the 47 of Chris Overland. They're going at it for a spot as Conti continues to fall back. 47 of Overland might be the driver on the move, Joe, within the pack, as he has moved to the inside of Trey Eidson. That's a battle for position number 13. And behind them, I think that's Patrick Crabtree, and I think he is a lap down. I think he came down pit road already. Something wrong with that race car, or maybe he's trying to short pit, something that we haven't seen, at least this early in the race. That's Crabtree. He's already been on pit road. Change for second. It's Kenny Humpy around Ottinger down the back straightaway, and Humpy will take position number 2.
This is not good if you're Ray Alfalla, not good in the least. You are now have to put yourself on aggressive mode. It's no longer good enough to go up front and just ride the rails, if you will. It's not good enough anymore to stay up there, to stay moving, and to stay leading this race. Now you have to actually do a little bit of racing. And if Kenny Humpy gets around you, as we've seen before in this series, if Kenny Humpy gets around you, there's no guarantees you're going to get the lead spot back.
But we've seen on these pit stops, caution flags could change everything. I don't think, at least at this point, that if Ray Alfalla does lose the lead, I don't think it's anything to cry over or look at right now in this one. We saw Ray Alfalla last week and that whole team strong early in the race. Didn't hear a whole lot about the middle of the race, but with a little bit of help at the end of that, Ray Alfalla and the LRM Slip Angle Motorsports team, they ended up within the top 5 at the end of that race. So yes, Ray Alfalla leads. He's going to come by and lead lap number 20. He has led the first fifth of this race. He's led every single lap so far. Kenny Humpy chasing him down in position number 2. One of the faster drivers in the racetrack, though Ray was a little bit quicker that last time by. Ottinger and Sturgis up there in the top 5, and I believe Corey Vincent along with maybe Trey Eidson. No, Trey Eidson stays out in the racetrack. That is the 10 car, Corey Vincent, down on pit road, and maybe a little short pit strategy going on here, seeing some green flag laps in this one.
It's entirely possible. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this entire race ran pole to pole green flag. This track is that big, it's that wide, and has a lot of different opportunities to race around this track. So it's entirely possible that we could see a pole to pole green flag race start to finish, including green flag pit stops. That would not surprise me in the least.
So Alfalla leads by 0.3 of a second in that last lap. They were pretty close in time. Ray Alfalla just a touch faster than Humpy. Ottinger in car 05. Keeping touch with Kenny Humpy in position number 2. Alan Bowes has moved his way up to position number 6 back there behind Cody Bias. Taylor Hurst just behind him in at 7th. Kevin King. Brad Mahar is now in the top 10. Brad has made his way to 9th. And Brian Day is holding off a little freight train back here. Michael Johnson and Matt Busa. Chris Overland barely hanging on. And then there's another freight train behind that, led up by Nathan Wise. So there's a lot of 2, 3, 4 car battles here, Joe, but it looks clean and green, at least at this point, 22 laps in.
Clean and green for almost a quarter of the race. Now, consider this. Here's something to consider. Tonight's race is going to be at least a two pit stop race, maybe even 3 pit stops. 31 to 32 laps, 30 laps-ish is what the fuel windows are going to be, which means these guys can make it on 2.5 pit stops. They will need that extra third one. I spoke a little early. Math is not my strong suit. Through 2.5 pit stops to make it all the way around this track. If we have no yellow flags, we'll know they're going to come in twice, and then they're between lap 60 and lap 100. They're going to have to make the difficult decision on when to come down and get that last bit of fuel to make the rest of the race work. So if this is a green to green race, strategy is going to be a big part, and pit strategy in particular is going to be a big part of how this race is won.
9 car Tyler Hill on pit road. There's a team that Aftermath Motorsports has been known to play a little bit of this fuel strategy. Caution flag out.
Caution flag out for the first time tonight. It's going to be an incident out of 4 involving the 15 of Patrick Crabtree, who is stopped on the front stretch, and it looks like he will be the only car involved to bring out the yellow flag. So, Tim, there goes my dreams of having a green run flag race tonight.
And he has come across the chat saying that his screen has shut off, so hardware problem on his end. Tough break for the 15. Patrick Crabtree, you have mechanical issues in the real side of things with the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. You might blow an engine, you might have something happen. This is the side, Joe. A screen could lock up, a video card could lock up, something on your hardware, something on your computer could very well fail, and it looks like at this point something has failed on Crabtree's to cause the screen to freeze up, and that will probably end the night for the 15. Tough break for him.
He has pulled him behind the wall. He is done for the night. And if you watch a replay, he did exactly what he said he did in chat. With no screen, he just turned left to try to stay out of everybody's way. And as you look at it, I think Crabtree was hoping that he would just brush the wall, maybe go down pit road, get a penalty for going down pit road too hot, and then be able to figure out troubleshoot his problem and get back to racing. Unfortunately, what happened is he just hit that, went left too hard. He hit that wall too hard. That's going to cause the black smoke to come out from underneath his car, and that will be the end of Patrick Crabtree tonight. So the first victim of the Brickyard will be Patrick Crabtree, and he will finish this race 42nd.
And not a bad little run to start off this race. A quarter distance done when they come across the stripe this time by, and we expect all these guys that are up in front to come down onto pit road. And something that, Michael Conti said last week on the B-Class broadcast, you can come down pit road here and not lose a lap. If you're Corey Vincent, you've already been down pit road, you're still on the lead lap. Is it a possibility that you stay out here and possibly lead this race, or take 2 tires, or take fuel only if you come down pit road, and beat a lot of these drivers to the line and come back out as the leader, or at least gain a ton of positions? We'll find out here as Ray Alfalla leads the field down.
It will be Ray Alfalla leading them down to the first wholesale pit stops of the evening. And this could change pit strategy as well. This could put everybody on a 25-lap fuel window instead of a 30-lap fuel window, which would perfectly time it as 3 pit stops. Let's see what everyone does here when they come to pit road. It'll be Alfalla looking for 4 tires at least. Ottinger, Sturgis, Kenny Humpy. One driver pulls through pit road, and that'll be the 28 of Casey Tucker. Not sure if he took 2 or missed his stall. 4 tire stop complete for Alfalla. Down and away, he will be out first. And it looks like it's going to be the 57 of PJ Sturgis with a big surprise. He will pull out position number 2, Humpy 3rd, Ottinger 4th, and Taylor Hurst rounding out your top 5. But I'm really curious to see what happened to Casey Tucker, because I've got a feeling he overshot his stall. Yes, he did. So Casey Tucker will be forced to come back down to pit road to get service on his car.
Yeah, Casey Tucker didn't overshoot. Casey Tucker completely airballed on his pit stop. He did not get to his pit box. It looked like he was turning in, Joe, just a little bit too late to do so. And you look up front, and surprise, surprise, Matt Busa stays out in the racetrack. I think he was the driver coming down at the same time that Patrick Crabtree was having his issues, and Corey Vincent stays out in the racetrack. Those will be your top 2. Tyler Hill will receive the wave around and will be back on the lead lap when we do go back to green, assuming that he does stay out between the pace car and the new leader, Corey Vincent.
You know, these guys are doing everything they can, and they're having a lot of fun out there. If you want to have a lot of fun out there, there's a whole lot of fun you can have here with the iRacing sim. And we'll tell you how we can do it here right after this break.
Yeah, we're going to step away for just a few moments' time. We'll bring it back to some more racing from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. Got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Millions of racers enjoy the iRacing from the comfort of their home, and you can be one of them with a great promo from your friends here at iRacing and PSR TV. Go to iRacing.com if you're a new subscriber. When you pay for 1 month, we'll give you 2 free, plus the late model as well to get you started on all the oval racing you can handle in 2015 and beyond. Use our promo code 2015-PSRTV for new subscribers only. You see it there at the bottom of your screen. Buy 1 month of iRacing, we'll give you 2 free and the late model for all the oval racing you can do this summer going into the fall and the long winter to keep your skills sharp. You never know, you can see yourself racing here on PSR TV. iRacing.com, a big bonus for new subscribers only.
Lights are out, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Tyler Hill received the wave around there, which means all 41 drivers that are on the racetrack are currently scored on the lead lap. Patrick Crabtree out of the race in 40 seconds. So we have 41 on the lead lap getting ready to go back to green. Just before that caution flag flew, it was Corey Vincent and Matt Busa coming down pit road. And then after the caution flag flew, everybody else decided to come down. Ray Alfalla, PJ Sturgis, Kenny Humpy, your top 3 off pit road. Nick Ottinger, Taylor Hurst, Cody Bias, Brian Day, and Brad Mahar, your top 10 as we work down the back straightaway. Getting ready for green. We'll complete 28 when we see the green silk.
What I'm really interested to see here, Tim, is there's a bunch of guys who decided not to come down pit road, and they will be at the lead of this field. Corey Vincent and Matt Busa, the two ones they came before down. I checked that back. They came down the lap before yellow, so they almost timed this perfectly. And what I'm really interested to see is how their pit strategy will ultimately affect the rest of this field. With only about a 5 to 8 lap difference, it could have a significant strategy later on in the race, or it may not. Only time will tell.
Matt Busa was coming towards the front when we went green, or when we had that pit stop, Joe. He was around 10th place. Corey Vincent was within the top 10. He came down pit road. I don't think it's going to shake out the field a whole lot different. It's just a matter of where Corey and Matt shake out after 5, 10, 15 laps if we do go that far in this green flag run. If they can stay within the top 10, I think it's mission accomplished for those two drivers. But we'll find out what happens here. Pace car going to peel off to pit road, and Corey Vincent, 2 weeks ago, he was the winner in this series. He's in command again, brings them down here. Green flag flies. 2 car. Ray Alfalla going to look to the inside of Matt Busa. Busa and Alfalla side by side as they drag race down to corner number 1.
So Corey Vincent will lead for the first time tonight. Ray Alfalla will join him. PJ Sturgis will pick up position number 3 over Matt Busa. Kenny Humpy content to watch everything happen all in front of him. Meanwhile, the rest of the field starting to file back to single file racing. Most of these guys are going to go back to single file racing. First battles will be around position number 13 between Brad Mahar and Kevin King.
Battle for the lead. Ray Alfalla makes it look easy going down into corner number 3 on the 10 of Corey Vincent. So Ray will move back to the top of the leaderboard on lap number 29. And now Vincent having to hold off PJ Sturgis. Sturgis looking to the inside of car number 10. They'll drag race down the front straightaway, and Busa holding his own right now in position number 4. So Vincent will lose the lead, go back to second, but he is under fire from Sturgis for position number 2.
As well he should be. When you're up that far ahead, you've got a target on your back. So Sturgis takes away position number 2 from Corey Vincent. So far, that pit strategy not working as they intended. Ray Alfalla once again takes away the lead. And I think the biggest loser so far is Kenny Humpy, who was in position number 2 and starting to stalk the 2-time champion Ray Alfalla, but now he's quagmired in traffic. He's got 3 cars in front of him, and those 3 cars are battling for position, and a guy that was in second and then tailing your leaders for a while behind him. That's Nick Ottinger. So Kenny Humpy, he's got quite a situation to deal with now.
You got to remember, though, that 58 car was a lot better on the longer run than some of these guys were. Nick Ottinger was pretty consistent, short run, long run. He runs right behind that number 58 right now. Ray Alfalla's gone like Seabiscuit, and he was gone like Seabiscuit on the first run. If he can stay out there for 12, 15 laps, that was his limit, per se, Joe, on speed before Humpy started catching him and before Ottinger started to reel him in a little bit. Now Ottinger's looking at the 58 car down the back straightaway. Humpy under fire from the 05, the Ream Camry, looking at the 58, the Peak Chevrolet. Nothing doing down into corner number 3, but it looked like Ottinger took a little peek underneath that number 58 down the back on lap number 31.
He is close. He's getting closer, and that racing going to only get harder as we continue around this track. Let's take a look at what's going on for position number 12. The 39 of Michael J. Johnson dispatches Alan Bowes to break into the top 10. Check that, will break into the top 11 for the first time in a while. Chris Overland will take position number 10, and now you see what everyone's been doing all night. They're getting back to single file. They're not pushing the envelope a whole lot. I think with Patrick Crabtree's departure, the idiom is sunk in. In order to finish first you must finish. And these guys are doing everything they can now just to finish, just to get done in this race to begin with.
47 of Chris Overland. Take a look back at Overland. He's on the 4 of Brian Day. He's moved up 15 spots and looking at a 16th as he is trying to battle Brian Day for position number 9. Down the front straightaway that they come. Overland was really confident, Joe, in his race car. He messaged me Saturday night and said, I think we have an opportunity to win this race. And that's 3 days before the race even goes green flag. Overland, very confident in his race car, and the double clutch Menards, number 47, all over the back bumper of the 4. Down to the inside he goes for position number 9.
For position number 9, they do battle, and let's see how it all tails out. Here comes Michael J. Johnson once again. Brian Day in his crosshairs, side by side. Michael J. Johnson, the 39 machine, will get around the Plan B sales machine of Brian Day, and here comes Alan Bowes, who wants to get position as well, break back into it as well. Chris Overland, note for Chris Overland fans, he ran his fastest lap of the race that time around. I've got a feeling he's not done just yet.
Keep a half eye on this battle up here for position number 3 as well. Corey Vincent in the 10, Matt Busa in the 34. So far, so good for their strategy, or maybe not strategy necessarily when that caution flag came out. Facilitated that strategy, but they got Kenny Humpy and Nick Ottinger behind them. That's the 10, 34, 58, and 05. Freight train for position number 3. So far, so good for them. Ottinger continues to look underneath that number 58, does the exact same thing down the back straightaway he's done the last couple laps. Nothing happening going down into corner number 3 that time, but looks like Ottinger gets those runs off the corner. Joe just can't seem to do anything with them.
Well, number 1, you've got drivers in front of them that are holding other drivers up. You got other drivers that are kind of holding up traffic right now, and when you can't get around them, that rolling chicane, that rolling roadblock makes it very hard to try to break around. That's number 1. Number 2 of this is these turns don't really lend itself to a whole lot of work, as now Michael Conti comes down pit road. Brandon Bowie will join him as well down on pit road. These turns don't lend themselves to doing a whole lot of aggressive passing as you would at a much higher bank track. Think Atlanta, think Daytona. Those guys are, those where you think of great aggressive passes happening. This track, not necessarily so much as you ride on board with the 58 of Kenny Humpy.
And you talked about Corey Vincent, Matt Busa, those guys holding up the rest of the field. When the freight train starts to form behind you, and not only is it a 4-car train now, Cody Bias and Taylor Hurst have also joined this battle. 05 of Ottinger looking to the inside of Kenny Humpy. Last time by, Corey Vincent 0.3 of a second slower than Ray Alfala, and he lost another 0.3 that time by. Compared to PJ Sturgis lost about a 0.5 between himself and the leader. Corey Vincent definitely holding up the train a little bit here, and the train is getting a couple of more cars. So Caboose is now the 74, and if it continues to go on, Chris Overland licking his chops. He wants a piece of this battle too.
And now the battle starts. The battles start to pick up on lap 36 as we get closer and closer to that halfway mark, with some of the pit strategy being thrown aside. Now you start seeing guys get a little more aggressive, start to chase down each of these racers a little bit harder in order to try to figure it out. The 10-car, Corey Vincent, he's currently in 3rd, and he's holding his position well. You have to remember, these guys, him and Matt Busa, are on older tires. They're going to go a little bit slower, and they're going to force Kenny Humpy and company to burn their gear up. They want to get past him. They can do it. They just need to burn up those tires a little bit and put them on almost the same run as the 10 and the 34 are.
And you look back at the 34, Busa is on 3-lap newer tires compared to Corey Vincent. And I believe it's about 2 laps or so from those other guys, but keep in mind, Busa was down on pit road. He was coming in behind Crabtree when he spun. Here goes the 34 on the 10, side by side. Busa trying to take the spot away and open the door. for Corey Vincent. That's the last thing that Vincent wanted to see. It's the best thing for everybody behind him as they're going to try to pick up a couple spots here. Humpy going to go underneath, and here comes Ottinger. Here comes Bias. Taylor Hurst is here as well, and Chris Overland. Yeah, I think Corey Vincent may have a spot in front of Chris Overland, but that's 5 positions he's about to lose here in about 2 laps.
The dam has broken, Tim, and guess what? That means when the dam is broken, it means all the water just floods out of the gate and down onto the 10 of Corey Vincent. As they say, when it rains, it pours. Well, this is something completely different. When the dam breaks, it pours, and Corey Vincent, nowhere to go.
And look at all that time that Chris Overland made up. Overland going to go to the inside of the 10 of Corey Vincent, and he is going to pick up position number 8, I believe that is, as Vincent falls back to position at number 9. And Overland, definitely the driver on the move right now. That was the best thing for him to have happen. He's looking at the 74 now with Taylor Hurst up there for position number 7. But now Kenny Humpy and Nick Ottinger, they're chasing Matt Busa. Busa's a little bit quicker than Corey Vincent was. We'll see in these next couple laps how it plays out. We do know that Ray Alfala up in front, continuing to lead by over a second over PJ Sturgis.
But so really the battle begins around position number 3 as Matt Busa is only a lap away or a car length away from Kenny Humpy. Nick Ottinger in that mix as well, and Ottinger keeps poking his nose down below. He keeps looking to try to get around the 58. Not going to happen this time by, but the 05, he is starting to make it work. Cody Bias, Taylor Hurst, Chris Overland, Corey Vincent, and Alan Bose, your top 10. Meanwhile, side-by-side racing around the 11 and 24, Brad Davies pushes the 24 in the wall. The 24 is going to lose a lot of position as a result.
And the 58 flashing the nose underneath the 34, back up at position number 3, nothing doing down the front straightaway. But Kenny Humpy took the peak down the front, and we'll see if he can try to make that move for position number 3 in a few laps, or if Matt Busa can continue to hold on. They are about 2.5 seconds behind your leader, Ray Alfala, who continues to tack on the advantage. PJ Sturgis is about 1.5 seconds or so in front of this battle for third, as Ottinger now underneath the 58 of Humpy, or at least looked like he was poised to make a move down the back straightaway, but cannot find the momentum to get himself on the inside down into corner number 3.
So down at corner number, so out of the corner and back on the stretch, Kenny Humpy still trails Matt Busa. Nick Ottinger still keeps his nose out, no dice between them, and the rest of the field continues to run single file around the very long, very wide Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tim, this grab a popcorn, grab a pop, because at this point, everyone's just kind of running on their own pit strategy.
Down the back straightaway, the 58 of Kenny Humpy pokes that nose on the inside once again, and yes, this might be the time where we see some guys throw the hand out the window. Lap 41 being worked on the board. Brad Mahar saying he's coming down this time by in car number 13. Jake Sturgis also throwing that hand out the window. The last time by, and Brad Mahar this time by will look towards pit road in car number 13. So here comes the 13 down to the attention of his crew. He'll try to get it slowed down to pit speed right there at the cones, and he'll be down to 60, and he'll head down to the attention of his crew from about P13.
So the 13 of Brad Mahar will come down to the attention of his crew. Meanwhile, everyone else on the field is racing. Again, they're racing their own race right now. They are racing their own strategy. They're racing their own plans, and whatever happens from lap 50 on, it's going to be based on what everyone needs to do to come down and get the attention they need on their own time.
Ottinger takes position at number 4, moves up behind Matt Busa, and now Busa looking is at position number 3. 34 and 05 side by side, or nose to tail, sorry for that spot. When you look at this, Joe, last week in this B race that we saw, we had some pit strategy take place, and we saw, I believe it was Richard Holiday, take away the victory there. So we could very well see something else like that. There was a lot of caution flags at the end of that, as the Ottinger car nearly grazes the wall at a corner number 2. Strategy along with the race, how it plays out at the end, could very well play into who wins this one. Ray Alfala in front of him has some lap traffic, but I believe those were two drivers who just came down pit road in Brad Mahar and Jake Sturgis, so they should be able to pull away a little bit from Ray Alfala. 43 laps coming across the yard of bricks right here, and Ray Alfala continues to lead by about a second and a half over PJ Sturgis.
Then as he continues to run now, so we get closer to lap number 50, everyone's going to start making decisions on when they want to come down pit road, when they want to start getting that attention, and when it makes sense for them to do so. The 51 of Tyler Laughlin just came off pit road on lap number 43. He'll be a lap down, but he'll get it back when everyone else decides to come down. So really, everyone's watching Ray Alfala, everyone's talking to their spotters, saying, hey, when's the 2 going to come down? Because when the 2 comes down to pit road, that's going to dictate when they're going to do the same thing.
05 of Ottinger going to take position number 3, and here comes Humpy looking to the inside of the 34 of Matt Busa. Is he going to get the nose there? Not through the short chute at least. So Busa going to fall into position number 4, and Humpy tried to make that move, but the hole closed up in a hurry. Behind them, Taylor Hurst in the number 74 takes the nose underneath the number 27 of Cody Bias, and Taylor Hurst will move up one spot as well. And that 74 car, Joe, almost like the team, when they continue to run, they get a couple laps in, and they get a little bit better. We haven't seen that fall off from Ray Alfala. Alfala has lost 0.2 to Sturgis in the last couple laps, but it hasn't been that much of a fall off compared from before, as Humpy takes a look underneath the number 34 of Busa. Is he going to get there going into corner number 3? Believe he will this time. And there goes the 58 of Kenny Humpy to position number 4. Humpy and Taylor Hurst now, who's on the back bumper of the number 34, continue to get better as the race moves along. But as we mentioned before, we haven't really seen that fall off from Ray Alfala, as we have a little bit of a jam up here down the front straightaway. The 58 of Kenny Humpy goes low, the 34 of Busa and the 74 were there, as well as the 10 car, Corey Vincent, going to come down pit road.
So Corey Vincent's going to make his voice heard early in this run, and we're only about 15 laps or so before people are going to be forced to start making pit stops. In about 15 laps, people are going to have to start being forced to come down pit road. They got 10 laps. They're going to be forced to come down pit road because they don't have the gas anymore. So now it's a matter of who's going to be the first one in this virtual game of chicken to come down pit road, slow down to the 55 mile per hour speed limit on pit road, and come to the attention of their crew. And that's up to every driver and how their strategy plans out for the rest of this race.
The 21 of Alan Bowes, the 27 of Cody Bias coming down into pit road. The 29 of Kevin King is also heading down towards pit road. They were within the top 10. There's one more driver right behind them as well, and I believe that might be the 38 of Ryan Lowe, headed down towards the attention of their crew. The 24 of Nathan Wise will unlap himself on Ray Alfala. One more driver just came off pit road. That looks like Justin Bolton just coming off pit road as well. So Alfala continues to lead this, Joe. He actually extended the lead a little bit on PJ Sturgis the last time by. We'll see if Ray Alfala decides to come down here on lap number 47. About half the field has now taken the opportunity to head down pit road. The 2 of Ray Alfala will stay out on the racetrack this time by and complete 47 as the leader on the racetrack.
If anyone knows how to stretch out fuel efficiency and stretch out mileage, it's Ray Alfala. How many times in this series over the last 7 years now have we seen Ray Alfala do just that? How many times, Tim, have we seen him master pit strategy and master fuel efficiency in order to walk away with the race? Kenny Humpy will come down pit road. He's not going to leave it a chance. Look for him to get 40 tires and a full tank of fuel, and now Ray Alfala will follow your points leader down on pit road.
Yeah, Ray will come down pit road this time by. Watch for the 2 car to head towards the attention of his crew. PJ Sturgis behind him. See if PJ will stay out and lead a lap. That would be key in his top 20 chase, as the 38 of Ryan Lowe nearly got into the back of the 2 of Ray Alfala coming off pit road, or onto pit road. That could have been huge, as Alfala will head down to pit road. No other issues on the entrance to pit road, but Joe, that was nearly a moment between himself and the 38, as PJ Sturgis will assume the lead.
That is correct. So Alfala now to the attention of his crew, as it'll be PJ Sturgis, Nick Ottinger, and Matt Busa all leading this race. Chris Overland and Adam Gilliland rounding out your top 5. Casey Tucker will be the next one to come down to the attention of his crew as Alfala hits the front box. The front box will take 4 new tires and a full tank of fuel and be down and away. And this could be a position to turn this into a 3-lap stop on the quarters of the race. 25, 50, 75, which certainly wouldn't surprise me by any stretch of the imagination. Now all eyes are going to be on your lead group, including the 57 of BJ Sturgis, on when they come down. Sturgis will come down now, and it looks like the 34 of Matt Busa should be joining him as well.
He will indeed. The 05 of Ottinger will score as the leader. A little bit of a scary entrance for PJ Sturgis as he got that thing dead sideways coming onto pit road. Overland will stay out in the racetrack, and he just passed Matt Busa for a spot on the track prior to Busa peeling off and coming down into pit road. He's got Brandon Schmidt behind him in car number 47. We anticipate Ottinger to come down pit road this time by, as he's got Shane Doherty in the number 91 to the inside of him. We'll see if Ottinger decides to pull the Ream Camry down on pit road this time by. We are working lap number 50. The next time the leader comes across the stripe, we will be halfway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the 05 of Nick Ottinger says it's time. Here comes Ottinger down into pit road, and Overland going to follow him down, and he charged the line in a hurry.
Chris Overland coming down pit road, and he is excited. I spoke earlier of 55 miles per hour. Check out, it is 60 miles per hour down pit road, and somehow Overland able to hold all 800 horsepower of this machine back in order to make this line perfectly. So now the 8 of Adam Gilliland will inherit the lead for the first time tonight, and after he comes in, we should be almost done cycling through all the pit stops. Adam Gilliland, Alex Warren, Andy Fayash, Benjamin Burmeister, Stephen Gilbert, and the damaged Tyler Hill are the drivers who have not yet come down pit road, so only a handful of drivers away before this race, before we get through the entire field.
We'll see what Adam Gilliland has here this time, if he does decide to come down pit road in the Gary Mercer Trucking JDR Graphics number 8. Off corner number 4 that he comes, and the driver from Texas will head towards pit road right here, and we'll slow it down and a little safer compared to what we saw out of Overland and Sturgis. Andrew Fayash III will stay out on the racetrack, and Fayash will lead lap number 51. Alex Warren in car number 82 will also stay out on the racetrack, as will Benjamin Burmeister and Stephen Gilbert. Looks like those are your final 4, and Tyler Hill in car number 9 to not take the opportunity to come down pit road. Michael Conti, I believe, is also still out here on the racetrack, but Joe, he pit it way early in this green flag run.
He waited way early in this run. He's currently on lap number 17 in the stint, as we have a 3-wide battle between the 57, the 27, and the 41. A short-lived 3-wide battle, but they came 3 abreast at the start-finish line. Now settling down to a single-file race. So Cody Bottas, PJ Sturgis, Jay Sturgis, and Corey Vincent all try to settle them out amongst themselves where they're going to run in this next green flag run. The number 3 of Brad Mahar will get around Michael Conti, and I believe that is for position as the 10 car continues to be on the move. But look who's in the lead. A guy who might deserve it more than anybody else on this field, the 77 of Andy Fayash III. He will be leading this field, and he will pick up a few laps here on Fans Choice TV.
We got a nice little battle for third as well with these drivers that are on old tires. Stephen Gilbert on the inside of Benjamin Burmeister. Got 3 wide in the back of the pack, but it's side by side for position number 3 up in front. Stephen Gilbert going to go to position number 3 around Benjamin Burmeister in the last row motorsports number 66, and he looked at the 37 through corner number 3. Nothing doing there. Fayash in the number 77 will stay out on the racetrack, as will Alex Warren, and the battle for third comes up at a corner number 4. Gilbert in the number 37, and Joe, you got to remember that Stephen Gilbert is also a part of the team, so it wouldn't surprise me if he, through somehow this pit strategy, leads a couple laps here.
It certainly wouldn't surprise me in the least. Pit strategy is going to win the day here in some way, shape, or form. And you have a couple guys here hoping for yellow so they can extend this run even longer, just even a little bit longer. Now, no matter what happens here, you're still looking at a 3-stop race. It's not going to change, but a yellow flag would make it so you can extend the run. You can hope for a few guys to come in there with you, and if you had to come down pit road during the yellow flag, it wouldn't be as painful as coming down right now.
Faye Ash going to stay out on the racetrack here to complete 54 on the racetrack. Alex Warren will do the same, and so will Gilbert and Burmeister. About 10 seconds behind them is Tyler Hill in car number 9. He completes your top 5, and he is going to come down into pit road right here. So the 9 car will surrender position number 5 to head down to pit road. Ray Alfala passes him up for 5th, and through all this cycle of pit stops, Brad Mahar in car number 13 will now fall to position number 7. Well, he'll stay in position number 7 as Humpy makes a move by him on that last lap. And now PJ Sturgis makes his way by. Brad Mahar came down a couple laps earlier, Joe, compared to some of those leaders, and it looked like it was going to work out for him, but it looks like we're going to stay green. I think he was hoping for a caution flag there.
I think he was hoping for a caution flag as well. I think there were a lot of guys that were hoping for a caution flag that time around, but aren't going to get it. Andy Fash in 3rd remains your leader. Alex Warren 2nd. Stephen Gilbert, Benjamin Burmeister, your top 4. And those guys have not come down pit road yet. Tyler Hill, the damaged Tyler Hill, in the number 9 machine. He is going to come to the attention of his crew, and he will get the 4 tires. Will take a fuel he needs. Be down and away. Meanwhile, back around this track, a lot of different races going on for position.
We got the 74, 10, and 21. That is a battle for position number 10 right now. Or check that, P10. Cody Bias just ahead of them in position number 9. You got the 05 of Ottinger behind them. That is position 13 for the 05 as they continue to go at it. Corey Vincent and Alan Bowes. Bowes to the inside of car number 10, the 05, looking on behind him. And there goes the 05 now to the outside. Fantastic little battle for position number 10 as the Benjamin Burmeister car will peel off from position number 3.
And the battles for position continue. Now the biggest group of guys battling for position. Well, let's go back to the lead first, and let's follow that battle to begin with as well. And it looks like the side-by-side battle is going to be, check that, the side-by-side battle will be between the 21 and the 10, as the 21 of Alan Bowes will get in front of Corey Vincent.
There wasn't a whole lot of a hole there between the 10 and the 21. The 21 of Alan Bowes will take position number 11 away from Corey Vincent, and now he'll set his sights on Ottinger and the rest of this pack. Great move by Ottinger to get around a couple of these guys as Andrew Fash III going to come on to pit road here. So the 77 will peel off. Alex Warren will collect a bonus point for leading a lap, and Stephen Gilbert in the 37 will maintain position number 2. And they are about 10 seconds, or Stephen Gilbert is about 10 seconds ahead of Ray Alfala. So Stephen Gilbert struggled this season. I'm sure he's hoping Alex Warren comes down pit road here in the next couple of moments, and he can lead a lap for this race too.
I'm sure he'll be certainly glad to lead the lap and get that extra bonus point on the field. So Alex Warren up front. Stephen Gilbert now position number 2. Ray Alfala, all he's got to wait for those 2 to come down pit road, which is now an inevitable event before they come down pit road, and he will once again inherit the lead with Kenny Humpy right behind him. The good news is for the guy who's won here at least twice, Ray Alfala, he's got 4 seconds over Kenny Humpy. And if this race continues to be a green flag race and he can keep the 4 seconds between them, Ray Alfala could walk away with this pretty handily.
Warren to pit road. Stephen Gilbert is your new leader, as the 37 car will be the last driver to come down pit road under this green flag run. He's got 5 seconds now on Ray Alfala. Lap times last time by for Gilbert 52.23 to Ray Alfala's 50.05. Gained about 2.5 seconds or so did Ray Alfala the last time by on Stephen Gilbert. So we expect Gilbert to come down in the next lap or so. He has led a lap here. We work lap 59. We'll complete that this time by Alfala, Humpy, Sturgis, Hurst, and Ottinger, top 5 behind your current leader, the Ford Racing number 37 of Stephen Gilbert. And is he going to come down to pit road this time by? No, he's going to stay out on the racetrack and complete 59 on the racetrack for the 37 car.
He is going to complete the lap, and he's going to lead himself some laps out here, but he will be, because being on a different pit strategy, he's going to have to come down pit road as well, sooner rather than later, and hand the lead back to Alfala. Kenny Humpy will then be second. It'll be PJ Sturgis in third, Taylor Hurst fourth, and Nick Ottinger in fifth. Tim, this is why I'm concerned about having a green flag run for the rest of the race. If we have a green flag run for the rest of the race, you're talking about major deficits between your not only your leaders, but really the top 5. 4 seconds between Alfala and Humpy, almost 4 seconds between Sturgis and Hurst. Nick Ottinger right behind Hurst, but they're in a time zone of their own as well. And then you start getting little mini packs in between. If we continue to have this race the way it runs, we may not have a whole lot of race.
Oh, but they're working on it, Joe. They got 6 cars back here. They're all side by side, and that's around 10th place or so. Vincent on the outside of the 39, 29 trying to hold off the 13, the 47, and 4 are 3 wide behind them. The 47 of Overland is one of those drivers that was quick in the second half of this race, or the second run of this race, and now he's on the outside of the 4. Little contact there, going down to corner number 1. Overland letting everything hang out here. He wants to win this race at the Brickyard. The 4 of Brian Day gets on the outside and gets the 47 to the fence, and he gets tagged from behind from the 13. There's the caution flag that we're going to have on the back straightaway, and he had to believe that it was going to happen, Joe. They worked hard for 2 laps to bring that thing out, and finally the time bomb went off.
And the time bomb went off in a hurry, and though you're going to have 2 drivers who are not going to have a short memory when it comes to this race. You watched it all happen live. The 4 and 47 just racing as hard as they could, side by side, and the 4 just gives that hip check to the 47 coming off the turn, and that's going to send the 47 into a slide that sees him going to 34. Matt Pusa, who had a good car tonight. The 13, the machine of Brad Mahar, who also had a great car tonight, and then they catch a couple other drivers as well in the melee. As the 30 goes spinning on the stretch, he will get destroyed by the 38 machine. The 38 just rams him as hard as he can. Brian Lowe. Lowe is done for the night, and it looks like maybe one more car might get a piece of this as well. Nope, everyone else is going to skate through it, but 4 cars heavily involved in this incident, and that will change the complexion of the race.
Is the 37 car out of fuel on the back straightaway? He is slow compared to everybody else. Stephen Gilbert was leading, and I think Gilbert may have just run out of fuel, Joe, going down into corner number 3. He's on the access road a little bit slower compared to everybody else and barely holding 60 miles an hour. So Ray Alfala will assume the lead. The one thing I did see about that wreck, Joe, Brian Day did shove up into the 47. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but he did grab a lot of apron where that banking changes transition going down into that corner, and that may have put him up into the 47. Not trying to make a whole lot of excuses. He definitely did get up into the 47, but it is what it is as Alfala, Humpy, and the rest of the field come down into pit road. Tough break for Stephen Gilbert. It happened about a half lap too early. Gilbert is out of fuel on the access road. Everybody else coming down into pit road.
So Stephen Gilbert limps down a pit road with no fuel in his car, and have a bunch of drivers in front of him who are going to come down pit road in his place. Among them will be the 2 of Ray Alfala, the 58 of Humpy. Brad Mahar's already down on pit road getting towed there. Alan Bowes, Cody Bias, all down on pit road. Corey Vincent, basically the litany of anyone is going to be coming down to pit road for the fuel and 4 brand new tires. But it's going to make it a very close race, because even at lap 63, they can't make it all the way. The 58 of Kenny Humpy finds a way around the 2 to pick up position number 1 over him. So Kenny Humpy will lead his first laps of the night. Alfala 2nd, Ottinger 3rd, Bowes off 4th, and Michael J. Johnson rounding out your top 5.
We are going to step away for just a few moments' time. Kenny Humpy will assume the lead off pit road. Don't go away, race fans. We'll be right back.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about.
Ah!
You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
on the outside, contact made. 56 slides in at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number 1. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone is just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warriors Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12 hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6 hour, several other races along there. And then of course the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out! Alfaro at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iRacing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts. You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Welcome back to iRacing Live, Fans Choice TV, and the rest of our affiliates for this evening's round number 11 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing. Going to look at the replay of what put us under our most recent caution flag, and tough break for the 4 and the 47. Chris Overland, one of the faster cars all night tonight, and he's probably not going to have the finish to show for it. He has scored in the lead lap, last car in the lead lap, in position number 38. Tough break for Joe, a driver who thought he could win this thing, but speaking about drivers that think they can win this thing, they're 6th in the state out on the racetrack under that caution flag.
You know, and the caution flag definitely gave the extended caution flag gave an opportunity for those drivers to conserve what they've got in their cars and maybe run a few extra laps they wouldn't be able to out there, while the rest of the field was able to conserve what they needed in order to try to make this the last stop of the night. I don't think they can do it, but I think it's going to be a valiant effort by those who try. Lights are off. We have completed everything that needs to be done under the yellow flag, so when we clear turn number 4, it'll be PJ Sturgis in command of the field, followed by Trey Eidson, Adam Gill, and Jake Sturgis. It looks like Andy Fash a third, rounding out Benjamin Burmeister rounding out the top 5. It'll be Andy Fash, Kenny Humpy, Ray Alfalla, Nick Ottinger, and Alan Bowes rounding out your top 10 as the pace car gets ready to make the hard left turn down pit road in just another turn.
we saw the 34 and the 10 stayed out under a caution flag where everybody came down pit road, and there was only 3 or 4 laps in between the drivers on tires. There's a couple of more laps between some of those top 6 on the tires here now. With those guys behind them, this could turn ugly in a quick way. Might want to alert Miranda and Carey because something bad, I think, is about to happen here. Green flag flies for PJ Sturgis. He is gone. Battle is for position number 2, and it's Adam Gilliland on the inside of his teammate, Trey Eidson. It's the 41 of Jake Sturgis, and then the Hornet's Nest behind them.
Hornet's Nest is the only way to describe what we're seeing as we go 2 wide, 3 wide. The 58 and 2 looking for an eye in the storm as they're going to cut between the 41 and 77 looking for position. 3 wide going into turns 3 and 4. 41 gives up the position. He's going to go down the access road, wants nothing to do with it. And now the 74 goes around.
74 of Taylor Hurst around. We will stay. Green flag racing up in front of the field. Sturgis continues to lead this thing.
3.
Kenny Humpy to
3
the
around.
inside.
9 around. Yellow flag comes out. It looks like the 3 of Brandon Schmidt had nowhere to go. He's going to get rammed by the 82 of Alex Warren, and that'll put him right in the path of the 9 of the already limping Tyler Hill. Yellow flag comes out. Not a whole lot of damage for a lot of drivers out there, but a lot of chaos as it looks like drivers just literally had nowhere to go, Tim.
I think a couple of drivers there saw that sense of urgency, Joe, and saw a couple of drivers slow. Might have tried to pick up a few positions and not use the brake pedal in some situations. Shane Doherty in the 91 slowed down. He was a little bit slow from everything there, and actually he may have hit the wall through all of this. There's a lot of drivers, though, behind the number 91 that were a little bit quicker. Some of those guys getting on the gas a little bit, some of them staying out, but nevertheless, the 29 of Kevin King went for a little bit of a slide there. Taylor Hurst, as you mentioned, went for a little bit of a slide as well. There's a few drivers that are going to have a little bit of damage to this. 39, 10, 74 among them, and then behind, as you mentioned, the 3 and a few others that got collected in that. So the caution flag will come out once again, and we'll re-rack them again.
Brandon Schmidt telling the rest of the field in the chat window that his transmission got broken as a result of what happened out there. So the 3, first I was very confused why the 3 was going almost 20, 25 miles per hour slower than those around him. But then he tells everybody his transmission literally gave way during the middle of being in the middle of that Hornet's Nest, and there was literally nowhere to go. Nothing Brandon Schmidt could do to avoid the melee that ended up happening. Pitts Road getting busy once again.
Pit road, a very busy place, as a few of those drivers that did not come down pit road under that caution flag going to come down, along with a lot of the drivers at the back of the back. Humpy stays out, Alfala stays out, Alan Bowe stays out, Ottinger, Brian Day, Johnson, and about 12 others or so behind them.
29 machine of Kevin King having some problems getting into his pit stall. I don't know if we can take that back or not, but but if we did take a look back, it looks like the 29 of Kevin King just literally forgot where his pit stall was, and by the time he saw it, it was too little too late. Hit the brakes hard, almost goes nose first into the wall. He will ultimately kiss that wall. You have to back it up a little bit to get back to try to get in his pit stall once again. Second time a charm for Kevin King, but that's damage is going to hurt even more.
Yeah, and there was a couple of drivers that had to hold their breath as Kevin King was backing up on that one. But tough break for Brandon Schmidt, a shifter letting go. We talked about hardware issues earlier with Crabtree having a screen lock up on him. Shifter breaking on Brandon Schmidt's car to bring out that yellow flag, or bring out the second chain reaction wreck on that one. To bring up the yellow flag. Tough break for Tyler Hill. Nowhere to go when Brandon Schmidt did go for a spin off the front bumper of Alex Warren, and Alex Warren too. Nowhere to go. Trying to stay out of the way of Brandon Schmidt, and was right there when that let go and couldn't get the thing back into gear. So we'll see what transpires on this restart. It will be Kenny Humpy leading the 2 of Ray Alfala in position number 2. Alan Bowe's great run so far. He's had a great run all night, but right now up in position number 3, one of the highest positions he has been all night long. PJ Sturgis, Nick Ottinger scored in the positions 4 and 5, though. I think PJ Sturgis did come down pit road on that one, so that'll move Ottinger up to position number 4, and behind him it will be Brian Day in car number 4. And not a bad rebound, Joe, after Brian Day and Chris Overland getting into it a couple of cautions ago. Day is now in 5th.
No, not a bad run at all. And now with the lights about to turn off, we will restart this race with less than 30 to go. So when these guys come down pit road, at any given time from here on out, Tim, there's going to be an opportunity for these guys to come down to pit road and ultimately come down for their final pit stop, so which could be a golden opportunity for some of these guys, as you see the two of Ray Alfala using the access road in order to try to clutch the car as much as they can and conserve fuel. If another yellow flag comes out, Tim, everyone's going to come down pit road, and I bet you if somebody could throw out a piece of a foaming on the side of on the side of one of their cars there, they would, just to get that extra pit stop in under the yellow flag.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to come down pit road anyway. But you look at Stephen Gilbert, went 34 and a half laps to make it on that stint. So, yeah, it's going to be tough especially for those guys that did not come down pit road. Is it doable for those other drivers? I think it is, but I don't think you'll really want to risk it with the way the tires are falling off on these race cars. But on the other side of it, Joe, I don't think we're done seeing caution flags here tonight either. We should have the lights off this time and we should be 1 lap away from going back to green. Back half of the top 10, Michael J. Johnson in the top 10 and 6th. The silent ninja, Thomas Davis, has been silent so far this evening. He sits in position number 7. Danny Hansen, Brandon Bowie, and Michael Conti, who we haven't spoken a whole lot of Danny Hansen this evening. He started 42nd, he's up to 8th. Michael Conti has had his ups and downs, and so far it's up. He's in position number 10. And Brandon Bowie has been pretty silent so far as well. He's sitting up in the top 10, so there's some drivers up at the front. The top 4 have been within the top 5, top 10 or so all night long, Joe. And then those other drivers behind them have had some struggles, at least to this point in the race, but they're going to try to turn it around starting 5th on back.
Well, if you're going to turn it around, now is the time to do it. At this point, you can burn up some of the tires. You can burn up some of the fuel because, number 1, there will probably be a yellow flag, and number 2, you are within that final window of the race. You're in that final grouping, and here's where you say, all right, let's take the gloves off. Let's untape the wrist. Let's go. Let's just put everything out there and see what happens, because at this point, it's checkers or wreckers. And you don't want to leave. You don't want to leave any doubt of what could have happened at the Brickyard. You just don't.
We will see what will happen here in the remaining 29 laps when we go back to the green flag. It is Kenny Humpy leading this race. Ray Alfala in 2nd, and those have been the two that have led the points all season long. Ray Alfala does have 1 win this season, but it did come at the Daytona International Speedway. He's had some strong runs in between there, but nothing compared to what Kenny Humpy has put together for a season. Alan Bowes, surprise winner earlier in the year at Pocono. We talked about John Adams before, who got his only 2 wins at Pocono and Indianapolis. Could this be the night that Alan Bowes does the exact same thing? Ottinger and Day complete your top 5. Pace car is off. Kenny Humpy bringing them down. Alfala on the outside, a little bit slow to the draw, and he will race the 21 of Alan Bowes. Bowes trying to get underneath the 2.
Bowes will try, but he will fail. He will come up short. Kenny Humpy up in front. Ray Alfala in 2nd, Alan Bowes 3rd, Nick Ottinger 4th, and then it's side by side in the short chute as guys continue to jockey for position. Michael J. Johnson, Thomas Davies, Danny Hansen, everybody starting to file in single file. And now look who's trying to peak to win. The 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. He's going to go underneath the 93 of Byron Daly. The 24, the 27 going to join them, and they're going to form their own little run up to the front.
Nick Ottinger takes position number 3 away from the 21 of Alan Bowes, and Ray Alfala looked a couple of times in the first half lap of this restart in the 58 of Kenny Humpy, but Humpy gets a great run off corner number 4. Caution flag will fly.
That way, the caution flag comes out for the 8 of Adam Gilliland. It looks like several other cars down there as well, including the 09 of David Rattler and company that are involved in an incident down there. The 8 just loses the air, looks like, coming off of the turn, and he hits the wall hard. He will come back into traffic, and he will collect, it looks like, the 47 of Overland, the 82 of Alex Warren. The 09 just T-bones literally directly through the 8 machine, and 4 cars will be done for the night. Tim, this could be the caution flag that a lot of guys were looking for.
Yeah, it looks like the 8 car of Adam Gilliland just gets a little bit free coming off the corner. The 22 does slide up in front of him, but it doesn't look like there was any contact there, and it doesn't look like Adam threw the brakes on. Shane Doherty may have got the 8 car when he was already halfway or 3/4 of the way gone. I don't think Doherty's touch there was going to help the number 8 of Adam Gilliland in any way whatsoever. And as you mentioned, he just goes straight into the wall. But Rob Ackley does slide up a little bit, but I don't think that had any sort of bearing on the 8 car going around. And Gilliland will pop back up in front of the field, and he's had a tough season so far, and it just continues to get tougher. And I see a lot of J.D. Laird did a fantastic job on that paint scheme on the number 8, but it looks like that they're going to have to go back to the virtual paint shop and put something up for Watkins Glen. They had bricks in the car this week, Joe. I don't know what they would put on the car for Watkins Glen, though. Any ideas?
You know, I spent a lot of time in that part of the world, and I'm trying to think. Maybe a little wine glass, maybe a little some grapes. The Finger Lakes are known for their wines, after all.
We'll have to see what J.D. Laird and the crew comes up with for 2 weeks' time on that 8 car of Adam Gilliland. But nevertheless, tough break for the Gary Mercer Trucking number 8. And he will more than likely be out of this race somewhere around 40th place. Brad Mahar in car number 8 on the race, or 13, check that, on the racetrack, 8 laps down in position number 40. Ryan Lowe out of the race. Patrick Crabtree out of the race in 41st and 42nd. Up in front, Kenny Humpy in car number 58 is your leader. Alfala, Ottinger, Bose, and Brian Day on the racetrack in the top 5. So this caution flag is going to help some of those guys that may have come down pit road in that last caution flag, Joe, or are coming down in this caution flag to top off with fuel. If this does go green the rest of the way, they should be able to make it on the fuel. But we saw it with the B-Class race last week, where we had, I believe the last 15 laps, I believe 2 were run under the green flag, just because those guys are trying to pick up positions at the back of the field and in the middle of the field. I don't think we're going to see that play out here, but we might see a few more caution flags before this race is over.
It would not surprise me if we saw a few more caution flags before this race was over. It also wouldn't surprise me to see everyone conserving as much as they can. Kenny Humpy using the access road and clutching it on the access road in order to try to save as much fuel as possible. Nick Ottinger, Alan Bose, Brian Day, Michael J. Johnson doing the exact same thing. They're at these bank turns here at Indianapolis in order to do everything they can to try and conserve as much of this car as humanly possible. The only one not doing it is Ray Alfalad. I'm not sure if it's a strategy move or if he's more certain that we're going to have to see some guys come down pit road tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have, I think, 2 different strategies at the end of this one. I think guys like Kenny Ray, even though with this caution flag that does fly here, even if we get 1 or 2 more, I would believe you would have to come down pit road one more time. Those guys that are back behind, and I look at guys like Sturgis, I look at guys like Landon Harrison, the Aftermath crew that weren't involved in that last caution flag there. Maybe a guy like Trey Eidson, maybe a guy like Casey Tucker. Some of those guys back there that we might not hear their name a whole lot this evening until those last 10 laps. If it does come down to fuel mileage, if it does come down to pit strategy, you might see some of those guys out at the back end up come towards the front of the field.
No, Tim, it didn't really. I was waiting for you to finish your thought there, but you got a good. But I'll kind of pick it up from there. You've got a good point there. You've got a good point about how these guys are kind of managing things and mitigating things, and really at the end of the day, at the end of the race, the only one that matters is lap number 200. Lap number 100. The only lap that really matters tonight is lap number 100, and you could not lead a single lap tonight. You could throw away the entire race, but if you don't win, if you're not leading on lap 100, it doesn't matter, because someone else will walk into the record books with the win. They'll walk away with the valuable points towards that $10,000 prize at the end of the season, and it's not going to be you. So you're absolutely right, Tim. Anyone can walk away with this race. Anybody can win this one. Those are not bad things. The good news is, though, is with all these guys still left in contention, guys who either have not won before or have been kind of in the shadows of some of the bigger competitors this season, they could be looking at a big win to boost their credibility, if not their confidence, going into the end of the season.
We're seeing a few tweets come across from some of these race teams. I think we saw it at the bottom of the screen already. Gale Force Racing, which is run by Matt Holden. Nick is upset that Peter and I knew how much a gallon of gas weighs, so they are definitely looking at some pit strategy there as well. I see Aftermath Motorsports is tweeting a lot of pictures, Joe, and that is usually their account on a Tuesday night is run by EJ O'Rourke. He's a sim racer, iRacer. You see him around on the sim very often, works with the Aftermath Motorsports crew. And EJ is posting more pictures of tore up and wrecked race cars than he is of clean race cars. So I guess that's how the night is going for that race team right now. And I'm sure he wants to post a picture of a car in victory lane. And I'm looking down the list to see where their top running car is right now. And Joe, I'm looking at 21st. I'm looking at Trey Eidson right now in 21st. I think that's the highest running Aftermath Motorsports car. That's Trey qualified well, qualified up in the top 10. He's far from out of it, but he's got some work to do here.
Well, like I said, Tim, it doesn't matter. You can have a great race, or you can have a horrible race, but it doesn't matter till lap number 100. And wherever you're at then, that's where you're going to be for the history books, and that's where you're going to be for one more year. Two drivers who don't want to be there, Ray Alfala, Kenny Humpy, their lights are off, and they're getting ready to restart this race side by side for what they are hoping could be the last yellow flag stop of the night.
And Brian Day also tweeting from Plan B Sales that they have conserved enough fuel on this caution flag to make it the rest of the way. He sits in fifth, going to have to keep an eye on that one too, as the pace car will look to peel off to pit road here. And we'll be back to green with 24 laps to go. Humpy is gone, shot out of a cannon, green flag flies, and Ottinger going to take a look at the two car of Ray Alfala down the front straightaway. Alfala going to fall into line here, top 4, top 5 single file. It's side by side behind them.
Kenny Humpy up front, Ray Alfala, Nick Ottinger, Alan Bowes, Michael J. Johnson, your top 5. Brian Day trying to get past the 32 of Danny Hansen. He will do so successfully, and Brian Day will take away the position of Danny Hansen. Not a great restart, as Thomas Davies now looking to get around the 32. 32 throws an aggressive block in front of the 83, and that will stop his momentum as he tries to make the move. No dice. Meanwhile, up front, 58 and 2, less than a car length between them.
Boys, you got 24 laps to go. You're racing for 7th. Joe, is it too early to start blocking all the way down to the grass in the back straightaway? The Segpay Ford was trying to cash in on something there, and he almost cashed in on the fence. Thomas Davis in the number 83. The Silent Ninja, I'm sure, did not appreciate that. Behind them, the two Pete cars going side by side. Tyler Hudson tries to find a hole in front of Byron Daly. He finds it, but there wasn't a whole lot of a hole to be found there. Conti will move up one position to 9th.
Kenny Humpy, Ray Alfala, still a car length between them. Ottinger, Bowes, Michael J. Johnson, your top 5. And now the battle for position is going to be between the 77 of Andy Fayash, the 3rd, and the 33 of Brian Blackford. Blackford gets the advantage on the low line, and he will sneak around the 77 of Andy Fayash. The 33, though, not going to complete the pass until the next turn. The 10 of Corey Vincent, last week's winner, he's going to get around the 17 as well. Bad news, though, is that's for position number 15, not where he wants to be running in this race.
There are a few blocks being thrown here about mid-pack. The 57 of PJ Sturgis just put Justin Bolton in the grass down the back straightaway the last lap by, and we have over 20 laps to go in this race. We saw it last week where Ryan Ammerman lost his cool with somebody being blocked. Here comes the 83 to the inside of the 32 once again. Don't think there's going to be a block here, at least this time. A little close quarter racing down the back straightaway between those two. 32 and 83 down into corner number 3, and Thomas Davis will take the spot, and here comes Conti, the teammate of the number 32. They'll go side by side as well for a spot, and Tyler Hudson going to look at the number 32 as well. Slides it in there on Danny Hansen, and he will be there. They'll go side by side, and Byron Daly going to look at a spot as well, as these guys are getting aggressive with 21 to go.
Aggressive is the nice way to put it. It's a 1 and 32 now side by side. One gets sideways, one able to save it, but could that cause a bottleneck behind him? Yes. The 0-1 now holding up the 93, the 54, the 27. Now the 54 gets sideways. He's going to create 3 wide. 34 gets sideways again. Cody Bias goes spinning into the inside wall. He's going to collect a couple other cars, and that's going to stop the 27 right in the middle of the track. Yellow flag out once again as Justin Bolton has heavy smoke pouring out of his car. And it looks like the 54 may have got a piece of that one as well. That's Brandon Bowie, and Cody Bias not happy with what just transpired on the track.
So when you look down into corner number 2, and to be honest with you, Joe, it starts back in corner number 1 down the short chute. 54 points to the inside. 27 lets him have it. 54 slides up a little bit. 27 doesn't give him a ton of room. I don't know if you want to chalk that up to good, hard racing, clean racing, little bit of bump and banging, whatever you want to call it as an excuse. And then the 33 comes in here and cleans them both out. Caution flag will fly, and they all wreck behind them. There's 33 couldn't have done much behind him. He couldn't have let up. He probably would have got run over, but there wasn't any room there for that 33 to go 3 wide, especially at that point in the corner. Justin Bolton's going to pay the price. I believe the 27 of Cody Bias will also be done. Brad Mahar may have got a piece of that as well. But that was about to happen. That was brewing for a couple laps with those guys blocking themselves all the way down to the apron, and it was going to happen eventually, and it went off in turn 2.
The pipe bomb just went off, and that once again changes the complexion of the race. Humpy, Alfala, Ottinger still in the lead. Bose, Johnson, Day, all still in the top 10. So not a whole lot of craziness going on in the top 10. But the question, though, is, with this caution flag, are you going to come down pit road and risk it? Guess who is not about to do that? Ray Alfala throws the big block. Almost caught Nick Ottinger and Alan Bose down on pit road. A very interesting move by the two to throw the fake out there and try to get some of those drivers behind him to come down pit road. So, Tim, I think we have our answer. Everyone's confident they can run the rest of this race on what they've got.
Yeah, I think this caution flag definitely put those drivers that were up front a little more comfortable in their fuel mileage strategies. Trey Eidson going to come down pit road, and he's going to be joined by Kevin King. Kevin's got a little bit of damage. Taylor Hirsch was right around that hornet's nest as well. Matt Busa was right around there. He's going to come down and get service. Shane Doherty, Brad Davies, a couple of drivers that were already down on pit road. Alex Warren, the 3 of Brandon Schmidt, T-Loff, Tyler Hill, Brandon Bowie, the 50 car. And then you got a couple of cars that are probably not going to leave pit road anytime soon. You got David Rattler in the 09. You got Adam Gilliland in the 8. And then you got the 36 of Justin Bolton also down on pit road. So it's going to be Humpy that leads this thing. I don't know how you can debate that those top 3, and even add Alan Bose into that mix. I think your winner, Joe, is probably going to come from your top 4. Kenny Humpy has led laps this evening. Ray Alfala has led laps. Nick Ottinger's been strong. And Alan Bose is just there. He's been in the top 5. Maybe he's saving something. I think your winner probably has to come from that top 4. What do you think?
Sorry, but I pressed the wrong button there, Tim. What I was about to say is you're absolutely right. You have 4 guys who have all won in this series. You have 4 guys who are accomplished in this series. Kenny Humpy, your leader. Ray Alfala, the 2-time champion. Nick Ottinger, a perennial winner in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, looking for his first win this season. And Alan Bose, a 21, who's looking to add on to his first win ever this tonight here at Indianapolis. So it wouldn't surprise me if the top 4 came out of one of these drivers. I think the biggest question though is, does anybody have enough to compete with Kenny Humpy or Ray Alfala? And more importantly to that, Tim, will time be on their side in the form of yellow flags?
Well, I think with the sense of urgency that those guys have shown, it's kind of hard to think this race is going to go green the rest of the way. That might be the easiest way to put it, Joe. 17, when they come back here, will likely go green with 16 laps to go. And when the guys from back half of the top 10 on back are racing like it's the last lap and the start-finish line is on the back straightaway and you just restarted on the front straightaway, there's I think it's going to bring itself to a couple of more incidents here. Guys are going to push their way through, and we got guys right now that are having great runs. Danny Hansen's in the top 10. Michael Conti's in the top 10. Thomas Davis is in 7th. We had the 83 and the 32 have a moment before with the 32 in front of the 83. Now the 83 will restart directly in front of the 32, and they'll restart on that inside line, so keep a half eye on that. Don't know if that's done or not. Brian Blackford's back there in 12th. He's got Tyler Hudson, who had that slide. Scott Free right now in position number 11. Byron Daly, great top 10 run thus far. You got the Sturgis brothers in PJ and Jake running 15th and 16th. You got Corey Vincent, who was strong earlier. He's back there in position number 14. And then you got some guys back there that are looking to possibly turn something into a top 20 run or maybe more. Landon Harrison is having a solid run in 17th place. Chris Overland, after being hip checked into the wall earlier, is back up to 22nd place. Not sure what kind of car that he has, Joe, underneath him, but he's got a car right now that is on the racetrack and in contention for a top 20 finish, and it might be even more if those guys in front of him decide to get a little more sassy in these last 17 laps or so, as we should get the one to go right here, and next time by, Humpy and Alfala will get back at it.
That they will, Tim. That they will. Lights do go off this time by, so when we go back to green flag racing, it will be a 16-lap soiree. Kenny Humpy, Ray Alfala, positions 1 and 2 on the field. Behind them, Nick Ottinger, Alan Bowes, Michael J. Johnson, your top 5. Brian Day, Thomas Davis, Michael Conti, Danny Hansen, and Byron Daly, your top 10. Tyler Hudson, Brian Blackford, Andy Fayesh, third. Corey Vincent, PJ Sturgis, your top 15. Jake Sturgis, Landon Harrison, Benjamin Burmeister, Stephen Gilbert, and Casey Tucker, your top 20. Only 33 cars remain on the lead lap, the last of those being the 24 of Nathan Wise, and a handful of drivers done for all intents and purposes for the evening. They include Patrick Crabtree, Ryan Lowe, David Rattler, Alex Warren, Adam Gillen, Brad Mahar, and possibly Cody Bias joining that list as well.
See a couple more joining the conversation on Twitter. Sam Cooper Bennett tweeted, "There it is. Cautions are breeding cautions again. Hashtag NPass." Joe, we've said it before. I think he hit the nail on the head. And I don't know if the cautions that we just had are done breeding more yellow flags. We'll find out here in the remaining 16 laps of this race. Kenny Humpy closing in on another win. It would be his first win at the Brickyard if he can hold on to the victory. Ray Alfala is looking for his 3rd win at Indianapolis in the last 4 seasons. If he can put that car into victory lane. I know he's got the Wendell Scott Foundation watching. We'll see if they can cheer Alfala on to a victory. Pace car going to peel off to pit road right here, and Humpy in command of the field. A little bit slower, here they come now. Green flag flies, and we are back underway. 83 pushing the 39 down the front straightaway, and the 05's got the nose underneath the 2.
But the biggest surprise of the race so far, Kenny Humpy back in position number 1. Alfala's going to try to fight on the outside. He will do that. Ottinger 3rd, Alan Bowes 4th. And like you predicted, Tim, top bar starting to break away this field. Here goes Brian Day, the 4 machine. Gets hip checked into the wall. The 89 goes around. Handful of cars go scattering. That could be the big one. Brian Day goes spinning with 16 to go. Tim, we didn't even get a full restart before we saw another caution flag.
Yeah, I don't think that was the big one per se with cars being involved, but I know Casey Tucker got I think punted the 66. The 89 gets involved, 22, 37. There's a half dozen cars with at least some sort of damage to their race cars that they're going to have to come down pit road to massage. But it started with the 4 and it started with the 39. And Joe, from first glance, it almost looks like what had happened with the 4 and the 39, 4 and the 47 before. The 39, Michael Johnson goes down into the corner, grabs a little bit of apron, and gets up into the 4, and the 4 ends up going for a spin, gets collected by the 10 and a couple of others, but I don't know. I think there might have been a little more room to operate on the inside of the 4 than there was on the inside of the 47 on that earlier caution. But nevertheless, the 39, the inside car in this case, once again, does clip the apron, slides up, car on the outside goes for a spin. We've seen it already before on one of these corners, and it, once again, brings out a caution flag.
7 cars, Tim. 7 cars involved in that incident that I'm counting. Maybe a couple more out there, but at least 7 cars walking away with some damage. Brian Day, the worst of them as he gets punted. And no matter what you want to call this, Tim, no matter how you want to call it, no matter if you want to call it an incident, a racing incident, if you want to call it the 39 is grabbing too much apron. The truth of the matter was both drivers were racing very aggressive on the field. Both racers were doing everything they could to fight as hard as they could out there on the field. Now the 39 and 4, they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, fighting as hard as they could, and the 4 is going to be the recipient of the push that time, and that's going to end his night. But Tim, I don't want to be the officials of this race. I don't want to be in the Little Red Hauler, because I've got a feeling the Little Red Trailer is going to be a very, very busy place, not only immediately after this race, but in the hours and hours after this race as well.
Let's step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll bring you back to the finish of this race, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, round number 11 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Don't go away.
It was August 23rd.
Guys, I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. Got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
We're back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, working lap number 88 under the caution flag here. Slow second half to this race, Joe. A lot of cautions coming out here, and we were looking at the replay of that last one under the commercial break that we had, and I don't know if Steven Gilbert missed his brake pedal or he just didn't hit it. Whatever the case may be, Steven Gilbert went full throttle into that last wreck. He was the last car in, and he hit pretty much everything that moved. He was trying to shoot the gap, but that gap closed up in a hurry, and he was a pinball or wrecking ball or whatever you want to call it through that incident. Tough break for Steven Gilbert after leading a couple of laps here early, but he's that's probably going to overshadow his run here at the Brickyard this evening.
You're being very polite about it, and I absolutely agree with that situation. And that's not a position you want to be in. That's not with an opportunity to win this race, or at least get a good top 10 at the latter end of this race. The last thing you want to do is ruin it for yourself, and more importantly, ruin it for others by just barring through the wreck and seeing what happens, rolling the dice, if you will. Not a smart move, but again, this is why I'm not the officials. The Little Red Holler will be the place to be tonight, because they're going to be doing a lot of confabulating on how to score this race, if you will.
So when we go back to green, we'll probably have about 11 laps or so to go, and Kenny Humpy leads. And you mentioned Ray Alfala running in position number 2. And Joe, if we can get 3 or 4 laps, I think that's Ray Alfala's best chance to get up to Kenny Humpy. We saw earlier in the race that the short run is definitely the positive for Ray Alfala. The long run is where Kenny Humpy excels a little bit better than the 2. We haven't had a long run in the last half of this race. And with 11 laps to go, when we go back to green next time by, we probably won't have a long run to the end of the finish. Knock on wood, we could go 11 laps to the end of this one, but the way this race has played out tempo-wise in the last 20 or so, we might not be done seeing our last caution flag. If this thing goes green to the end, Ray Alfala probably has a great opportunity to, if not keep Kenny Humpy in sight, but possibly have a shot at winning this race. But if Kenny Humpy continues to have the cautions just like Richard Holiday did last week in the NASCAR iRacing Class B Open Series we covered on iRacing night, Humpy's probably going to get another victory here.
Which would be a great thing for him and a bad thing for everyone else in the field. If Kenny Humpy picks up one more win here with over 100 points coming into this race over Ray Alfala, that could be the final nail in the coffin. Even with the drop race, even with the 4-race chase, if you will, Kenny Humpy might have just built up too big of a lead if he wins tonight.
Yeah, there's still a few races left to go in this thing. Obviously, this is only race number 11. Still got a handful of races left to go in this series. Anything can happen, but at that point, with a 100-and-something point lead coming down to the end, figuratively, Kenny Humpy could miss out on the last race at Homestead and still end up winning the championship. But he's still got to keep up the pace that he is, top 10, top 5, and if he wins here tonight, that's going to extend the point lead once again. But we'll see what happens here in the remaining 11 laps of this race. Ray Alfala has a very good short-run car. We'll see if he can show it here. Humpy is gone right there, and he's got Ottinger on the back bumper. Alfala sleeping on that one. Green flag back in the air, the 58 and the 05, your top 2.
So the 58, once again, going to try to walk away with this race, but he's got a lot of drivers behind him who want to make it not happen. The 05 is going to get a wiggle. He's going to get a nudge from the 2. The 2 will pick up position, put Ray Alfala back in position number 2, all benefiting the 58 of Kenny Humpy, who's now got 4 laps. Now the 2 is 05 battling.
The 2 blocks the 05 all the way down to the grass down the back straightaway. 21 of Alan Bowe's going to go to the outside line. I'm sure Ottinger's not too happy with what transpired off corner number 2. He'll put that in the back of the memory bank. And as they continue to battle, Kenny Humpy begins to pull away a little bit. But don't count out the 21 in this one. The John Dragonetti number 21 of Alan Bowe is a part of this battle for position number 2. As we run down the front straightaway, we complete it 1 lap under green after the restart.
1 lap after green, 10 left to go. Kenny Humpy in front. Ray Alfala, Nick Ottinger, Alan Bowes, your top 4. Danny Hansen, your top 5. Last year's champion, Michael Connie in 6th. Michael Johnson, Tyler Hudson, Thomas Davis, and Byron Daly trying to stay in 10th place. He's going to try to fight off the 33. Now 3 wide. As a 93, the 33, the 57. They're all looking for trouble, if you will. It will be the 93 who retains his position in the top 10, but more trouble brewing. Now the 33 gets booted by the 41. Brian Blackford goes sliding in the turns, able to save it, but dangerous moments on with 10 to go.
Nice save by the 33 of Brian Blackford. He's going to lose a couple of positions, but it will keep us under the green flag. They're trying to wreck back behind them. The 93 and 57 are side by side here for position number 10 as they continue to go at it. Looks like the top few, Joe, have this thing figured out. It's those guys out back if they can keep it straight for the remaining 9 laps.
Kenny Humpy still remains in front of this field. Ray Alfalla, it's about 3 car lengths or 0.2 of a second between those 2 cars. Nick Ottinger, your top 3, Alan Bowes, your top 4, and those top 4 have broken away from the rest of the field. So if we stay green for the next 8 laps, these guys will decide it amongst themselves. If we have a caution flag come out with 5 to go or less, the race will effectively be over, and whoever's in front, well, it's going to be their race to take control of here at Indianapolis.
But if the flag does come out within the next 3 laps or so, I'm thinking we're in for a wild restart. Top 4 have broken away from the rest of the field. It is Danny Hansen holding off his teammate Michael Conti at position number 5. Thomas Davis, Michael Johnson, Tyler Hudson, also a part of the top 10 at this point, with PJ Sturgis completing your top 10 as they run through the short chute and look towards corner number 2 and down the back straightaway. Taylor Hurst and Andrew Fayash III is the first side-by-side battle here, and that is at 14th.
Meanwhile, up front, still nothing changing. In fact, that gap started to grow a little bit smaller between Alfalla and Kenny Humpy. Last time around, it was almost 3/10 of a second. Last time, it was 2.5. Now, probably 0.57.
Oh, Hudson into the fence in the short chute. He's going to come down in front of traffic and collect the rest of the field. Caution flag will fly. The 77 of Andrew Fayash III was the innocent bystander, and the 01 of Tyler Hudson, Joe, was into it with the 57 of PJ Sturgis going down into the corner, and Tyler Hudson throws a little bit of a block down the back straightaway. 57 looks to the inside. 01 blocks him. They go down into corner number 3. The 57 gives him a little bit of a little bump and run, and the 01, 57 gets into him again, and then the 01 has the care factor go out the window, up in front of the wall, and instead of Joe keeping it up towards the wall, he turns it back down in front of traffic and collects half the field.
But how about Brad Davies in the 11 machine? Take a look at his ride through this entire field. The 01 stops in front of him. He nails him going over 160 miles per hour, heads nose first into the wall, no safer barrier, so he will dance around like a top before coming to the rest. Almost on his lid, Brad Davies done for the night as a result of that incident. And Tim, this is not the caution flag we wanted, but maybe the caution flag we needed to have a very, very competitive finish.
Yeah, it just looked like Hudson, after he hit that safer barrier, had the opportunity to at least try to save it or try to keep it up against the wall, but it drifts down in front of traffic. I hate it for Andrew Fayash III because he was having such a great run here this evening. He was up in the top 5 throughout all that pit strategy call, and he was in the top 15 at that point, and that ends it. So I'm not sure. And Tyler Hudson within the game chat, Joe, calling out PJ Sturgis, calling him a couple of names, and threatening to park him if the series officials do not. So mark of a champion from Tyler Hudson.
Well, Tim, it is iRacing.
So it's like we're at a short track, Joe. It's like we're at Richmond or Bristol. These guys are going at it, and it's not over. We got one more restart to come.
Potentially one more restart. Yes, 6 laps to go. Currently stands as the race goes out. As the race continues, and we will probably have at least 1 green flag lap, maybe 2. If we're lucky, we'll get 2 2 green flag laps, and I'm betting closer to 1 when it all takes place, when push comes to shove here at the end of the race. And Tim, the only person that benefits is Kenny Humpy. He's had a stranglehold on this race for the last quarter of this race, and he's proven that he can restart very, very strongly so far. So Kenny Humpy could walk away with another win.
Tyler Hudson done for the evening. He has parked his race car, and that's probably a good thing after running his mouth the last couple of moments. But the other peak driver, Joe, out in front of this field. I don't know if anybody's going to touch Kenny Humpy here now. Yes, Ray Alfalla has a short run car. Great short run car. But how short is this run going to be? Humpy's going to control this restart. Alfalla's going to be in second. I like Ottinger and Bowes. They've both been strong. Danny Hansen has been holding his own in the top 5. Michael Conti knocking on the door. Thomas Davis has had the best run of his season, I believe, thus far. Then you get to Michael Johnson, PJ Sturgis, Corey Vincent, rounding out your top 10 right now. A lot has happened here in these last few laps, but the 4 constants have been up front.
The 4 constants have been up front. Let's not discount that. And I've got a feeling that the 4 constants are going to be turned into 1 constant, and that 1 constant will be Kenny Humpy. And by constant, I mean his constant streak of winning. Kenny Humpy has done everything he needs to do to get in control of this race, and now he's got an opportunity here to walk away with yet another win. And again, Tim, all he's got to do is maintain his pace, and he could effectively skip last race of the season and still walk away winner.
But I don't think Kenny Humpy is going to do that. I don't have the record book sitting in front of me. I know Chuck Johnson has them down there, but maybe Chuck can reel it in. What's the win record in a season for this series? How many wins has one driver had within a season? Because Kenny Humpy, if he hasn't got it yet, I think it was 6 by Ottinger maybe. If he hasn't got that yet, he's coming close to eclipsing it. And you better believe Kenny Humpy is trying to continue to win these races, rack them up, and possibly set a record, not only for the biggest point advantage, Joe, but maybe for the most wins here, because this is a record season for Humpy.
Nick Ottinger won 6 races back in 2013, which I don't believe has been tied by anybody else. We'll take a look back here and see if that record has come close to being touched. But 6 wins is still a lot, and Kenny Humpy could be on pace to make it a lot more than 6.
Yeah, we got Chuck Johnson working down there. I can see the steam coming from down there now. I know Chuck's working overtime now to figure that out, but this is no way in the book for Kenny Humpy right now, at least at this race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, especially on these restarts. We saw it on the last one. Kenny Humpy pretty much went when the pace car went. Nick Ottinger was ready. Ray Alfala was not. If that happens again, we might have a battle for second over a battle for first. And don't count out Alan Bowes in that battle either. Alan Bowes has won a race this season. He knows how to get to victory lane, and he might get one more here. We're going to have 3 laps to go. And we'll have to see whether it's 3 laps under green or it's less than that under the caution flag. We'll see what happens here. I think those guys at the back, we've seen a 3-lap run there. We might try to see one here to close off this race. A very exciting race at that at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yes, that certainly would be. According to my records, I take a look back here at some of the past wins. I think the closest somebody's ever gotten to that record, record set in 2013, was Nick Ottinger with 6. With 6 wins in 2013. 2012, the closest one came to winning that was Ray Alfala, who won 5 in 2012 en route to his 2nd consecutive championship. Lights are off. 1 lap left to go. It'll be Humpy, Alfala, Ottinger, Alan Bowes, and Michael Conti rounding out your top 5.
So with Humpy having 5 right now, he will look to tie that mark with within the next 3 laps or so. We'll have to see if he can hold on to this. Ray Alfala, very strong short run car, and I've said that a couple of times already in the last 20 laps or so because we really haven't had a long run. Runs in position number 2. Nick Ottinger in 3rd. Do not count out the 05. The 21 of Alan Bowes is in here as well. I think he's the wild card within this battle. And then the Segpay Ford of Danny Hansen in position at number 5, trying to hold off his teammate, the 5 of Michael Conti. Pace car gonna peel off here. Final restart of the evening at Indianapolis. Humpy in control of this one, brings him down a little bit slower, trying to catch Alfala off guard. Here he comes. Green flag flies. Top 3 were on it on that restart. The 05 tucked up tight to the 58.
3 wide it will be going into turn number 1. The 05, the 58, the 2 side by side. The 05 backs off, and now the 2 and 58 side by side. It looks like the 2 may have jumped the restart. No officials, word of the officials yet. Might not matter as the 2 gets sideways through turn number 2, able to save it, but it might not be enough as he tries to block the 5, 83, 39, 57. Oh, getting squirrely now the 10 in the dirt.
We got cars in the grass. They're 3 wide going down into corner number 3. Thomas Davis on the inside in the 83. Trying to pick up one more spot here. Here comes Byron Daly on the inside. Up in front, here comes Ottinger on the inside of Kenny Humpy, trying to make it happen for the lead position off corner number 4. Humpy nearly gets into the wall. New leader, Nick Ottinger.
Ottinger made the pass of the race, and that could be enough to win it, as Ottinger will take it with Chet with the popsicle sticks in the air. 2 to go. Ottinger in the lead. He will be followed by the one-time winner, the 21 of Alan Bowes, Kenny Humpy, who had a stranglehold in this race, down to third as they go through the short chute and into turn number 2. Hansen, Thomas Davies, your top 5, and Falla, who is looking for this win, he will be relegated to position number 8. But Nick Ottinger, looking for win number 1 on the season, could have it right in only a lap and a half.
And Ottinger has a big lead going down into corner number 3. 3 or 4 car lengths at least between your top 2. Battle might very well be for third here as Humpy is trying to hold off Danny Hansen. Where did this run that Danny Hansen has come from? He's looking at third. White flag will fly here. Last lap as they'll come across the yard of bricks this time. Couple of blocks being thrown at the back of this field, but this thing will end under green. White flag has flown. Ottinger in the 05, gonna try to come back here for the win at the Brickyard. Alan Bowes in position number 2, but he's got Kenny Humpy on the back bumper looking at the John Dragonetti number 21. Can Kenny Humpy take position number 2 away? It's Hansen holding on to 4th. Thomas Davis in position number 5. Great run for the 83, but as they come through 3 and 4 for the final time, through the short chute, Nick Ottinger in the Ream Camry through corner number 4. He'll come up to the front straightaway. He'll see the checkered flag in sight, and Nick Ottinger, late race pass, is going to go to victory lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Round number 11 goes to the 05. Second going to belong to Alan Bowes. Kenny Humpy will fall to third. What a run for Danny Hansen in 4th. Thomas Davis in 5th. And Hansen's teammate Michael Conti is going to come home in 6th. Great run for those drivers from the drill aisle.
Nick Ottinger looking to break the streak of bad luck. He's going to be able to do it this time around, and what an incredible win for Nick Ottinger. Nick Ottinger has never won here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's not won here all season, and now he's getting the congratulatory bump from the 2 of Ray Alfalla. It looks like this 5 is going to give him a little love as well, and here comes the 34. A lot of guys cheering on Nick Ottinger tonight, and it was a win well deserved for Ottinger. Made the move out of nowhere, and you want to hear a guy who's about to be really excited that he was able to pick up the win tonight. Just listen to the interview afterwards, because the 05 is going to be on fire when it's all said and done.
So Nick Ottinger will come down to the yard of bricks, and he will light it up here for his 2nd win of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season in 2015. And that will boost him up, and he will be a bona fide contender for the top 20 now in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series to try to lock himself in to 2016. Ottinger is your winner. We'll talk to your top 5 finishers in just a few moments' time. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on iRacing Live.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. Got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about.
Ah!
You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides in at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Did even give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy. Welcome back to round number 11 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. Your winner this evening on a late race pass is Nick Ottinger. Second win of the season, first win for the 05 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joe, apparently he is still celebrating in victory lane. I know we have Alan Bowes. We'll see if we can get Alan Bowes on the horn here, and we'll talk to our second place finisher here this evening in the John Dragonetti number 21. And Alan, what about that finish? Talk about the 3-lap dash down to the line at Indianapolis.
Oh, that was crazy. I was pretty I was going to be pretty happy with the P4, but the situation there at the end allowed me to get P2, and for me that's amazing. I needed that for points. I can't thank Dustin Lingard enough this week. He put so much time on the setup, and it was so fast on the straightaways, and it showed in qualifying. As we qualified P7, it was easily the best run I've had in a while.
And best run start to finish. You started in the top 10, started in 7th place, ran in the top 10 all night long, and for the final half of that race, pretty much, you're in the top 5. You have to be really happy with the run. Not only the finish of this race, but you have to be happy completely with everything that happened here this evening.
Oh yeah, it's kind of nice to get a little bit of luck with not having issues. This season so far has been a pretty bad season, so to be able to race my way up to the top 5 and get a top 2 finish tonight, that means everything to me.
So now, with the way this season has gone, how do you set up for the next couple of races? And oh, by the way, 2 weeks' time is Watkins Glen. Have you had any thought about how you're going to attack the road course?
I don't know. I've always been pretty good at Watkins Glen, so hopefully I can do what I did here. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You got guys like Humpy. I know he's going to be fast. He's fast everywhere else. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
And there is our second place finisher here this evening, Joe Cortez. Alan Bowes had a very solid run. Never fell out of the top 5 for a whole lot this evening, but he is going to come home with a second place finish too. The driver who takes his second win of the season, it's Nick Ottinger. Joe Cortez, you're in victory lane.
Nick Ottinger, you finally broke the curse there, buddy. You found your way into victory lane. Not a moment too soon. How does it feel to add this as your third consecutive season you've had at least one win?
It feels awesome, man. Especially one win like that, racing against Kenny. He's been so good this season. It feels awesome, man. I mean, we put a lot of hard work in this. A lot of these teams do, including our team. And I circled this one ever since last year when we raced here. I circled this one back on the calendar because we had such a good car last year, and just let that one slip away to my undoing. But I didn't want to do the same thing again this year. So I mean, it feels great, man. It's a lot of hard work by this team, and they do their best to give me a good car. So it feels really good.
Nick's your first win at the Brickyard. Emotional connection for you at all?
Yeah, especially from last year, like I said. I mean, I just made a mistake off turn 1 and last year and just cost us that race. I almost had the same thing happen. I think Ray got into it a little bit, and I had to gather it back up, and then just have to let the race restarts. I mean, it feels really good to win though. I mean, our ring camera was so good. Once we got 5 laps to 15 on the tires, and late race restarts, I was getting a little push in turn 1 and 2, and I couldn't really do much there until after a few laps we get on the restart. So, I mean, it was good racing. I mean, it was crazy to be honest. I had to make Kenny drive hard in turn 4, knowing he was going to drive hard, and I had to do the same thing myself. So, I mean, it was a good race.
Been a tough season for you, Nick, but you finally get to win in the books. I believe it's your 4th consecutive season that you've had at least one win. At this point, what's the plan for you and the rest of the Gale Force team as we look forward to the last 6 races of the season?
Well, for myself and the 05 team, it was just getting back in the top 20 for a while, and finally, then it changed to let's get some wins and we fall wherever we are in points. But I know we're good enough. Our whole team is at Gale Force Racing. It's good enough to get to top 20 and finish top 5, 10 every single week. And like I said, it takes a lot of hard work, but I think we can continue it. These flat tracks we've always been good at GFR, so kind of wish there was more, but it is what it is there. But we also had a foundation we recently partnered with, Team Fast Tracks.org. Pretty good to partner with them. It's a good honor. I know we got a good buddy of mine, Paul Matson, who's a service member too. So I mean, it's a good foundation if you guys can check them out. We finally got a victory late when they come on board too, so I'm happy with that.
That is Nick Ottinger, elated to finish first here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's see who else we can grab here on the horn. Tim, I think we got Kenny Humpy.
I think we got Kenny Humpy, driver the number 58, and Kenny, I know you probably don't want to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Went into lap 98 as the leader. You came out lap 98 as third. Let's talk about that last restart there to end this race.
Yeah, Ray had a pretty good restart on the outside there. I was kind of surprised he was able to stick up with us there, getting into 1, and that kind of just hurt our momentum, through 1 and 2. And I think we made contact actually in 2. I don't know exactly what happened there. I hadn't went back and watched, and it just kind of hurt the momentum down into 3, and I overshot 3 getting in, and it kind of threw the race away. But in the end of the day, we still had a pretty good points day, so can't be too disappointed about it. Would sure have liked to get another win, but to see someone else like Nick win, and we were working with him there on the last restart, so I got to thank him too, for just working with me there, and he did an awesome job and was able to drive by.
The 2 car looked really good on the shorter run, but especially in the first half of this race when we did have long green flag runs, this 58 looked like a rocket ship.
Yeah, I definitely think we had a really good car. I was really skeptical when we were, working on it throughout the week. I thought we were just way off. It didn't feel very good, but for whatever reason in the race, it came alive. And all the guys on the team, I got to thank them. Justin Bolton and Cody Bass, they put a lot of time into it, and it worked out for the best. And today, here tonight, we actually had a pretty decent car. I think, like you said, Ray had a really good short run car, and Ottinger and everybody else had a pretty decent long run car. But I think there was a few that in the back that really never made their way to the front that maybe were just a little bit quicker. But to finish third with the Peak Chevy, it's a really good night.
Now, you talked about a good point night, but in 2 weeks' time, we are going to go racing at the Watkins Glen Road Course. How was your road game compared to your oval game?
It's hit or miss. I have a lot of speed on them, but speed isn't everything on a road course. You got to be able to keep it on the track, and that's one of the things that I kind of been lacking at. I can run good laps, but keeping it on the track for, I think it's 45 laps we got to go there. So, it's going to be a fun race. I love doing the road courses. I think it's something good for the series to be able to, go to both tracks and have to do both sides of the thing. But, I'm sure all of us on the team will come up with something good, and hopefully my spotter golf there can keep me on the track the whole night.
And that's Kenny Humpy, the Peak Chevrolet, coming home in position number 3. And Joe, he's likely going to extend that 100-plus point lead a little bit more after we leave this Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You've caught up with a guy that had one heck of a run here this evening. It's the Segpay Ford of Danny Hansen.
Danny Hansen qualified 42nd. He qualified shotgun on this field as a revisional, finishes 4th tonight. And Danny, let's just talk about that fact. You started at the very tail end, and you had a shot to win this race.
Yeah. Don't even ask me how that happened, because I'm not sure exactly how we got up there. I ran a decent lap in qualifying, but got the right rear in the wall off before. Didn't count my lap. I think it would have put us 12th, but really, the car, we struggled with it. Loose early, tight late. and most of the race we just running 30th, trying to keep a level head to put us in a position to get a decent finish. But fourth was definitely unexpected.
Walk us through those last set of restarts, especially when the yellow flag started coming out. Was there ever any doubt that you guys were going to have as good a finish as you ended up having? Or number two, did the opposite happen where you just said, all right, we've got a great opportunity to do something here. Let's make it happen.
Really how it happened is we were trying to, myself and Conti didn't have the greatest cars, and we were trying to play a field strategy to get a decent finish out of it. And when that whole fiasco happened with them extending the caution, we kind of pitted there. And with the caution starting to come on, people pitting ahead of us, we took advantage of the track position. And then, the race at the end just kind of really short runs, and that's what we needed. If we had a long run at the end, we would have been setting ducks. We both didn't have long run speed. That's just sometimes how it works out.
Big top five here at the Brickyard with 6 races left to go. How does this change your outlook for the rest of the season?
I mean, we're still pretty slow overall. We still got to find what all the other teams have found, obviously, this year. But Watkins Glen's next week takes a little bit less setup, a little more driver expect to. Hopefully, at least get a top 10. I know my teammate Michael Conti is expecting a little more out of next week, but yeah, we found a few things, and we'll carry that into next week and see where that gets us.
Danny Hansen finishes 4th tonight after starting at the very tail end of this field, walking away with a great finish here at the Brickyard. Tim Terry is caught up with our 5th place finisher, I believe, Thomas Davis.
Thomas Davis finishes in position number 5, and Thomas, I'm sorry we had to pull you away from your post-race meal. What are you eating after 100 laps at Indy?
I'm doing a little beef jerky here. I got to get ready for work. Don't really have much time.
Well, that's not too bad. Let's talk about your run then. Started 26, finished in position number 5. A lot of cautions at the end. Walk us through the last few laps at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I really just got tried. It wasn't that good of a car. It was probably a 12th to 15th place car, but I stayed out, I think, on that pit stop with like 37 to go. And we just saved fuel and went caution, and the car was good enough on a short run. I could keep my track position.
Crazy restart at the end.
Yeah, I really got to thank Michael J, because I think if he doesn't let me in there, I killed the field. Because I got, I think it was Danny in front of me, and I just got pushed to the grass, and I had nowhere to go. And I think Michael gave up a few spots to let me in there and save everybody. So thank you to him.
Before we let you go here this evening, I know you missed a couple of races, but you do not have to drop a race. You came in 32nd in the point standings. Is the top 20 still a goal for you? Can we make it up into the top 20 to lock ourselves into the series for next year?
I think it'll be a stretch. I'm probably just looking to get good finishes and gain some respect going into the Pro Series, because I think I just took a look at it. I'm like 60 points out, so that'll be tough to make up on 20th.
It is Watkins Glen next week. We'll see you there. That's Thomas Davis, driver of the number 83, and I know Joe, he's got to head out to work, so we'll make that one short. Final thoughts here this evening from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lots of green at the start, a lot of excitement, a lot of sparks flying at the end of that race, and a couple of guys upset, and there's a couple of guys that are really happy to be where they finished, and Nick Ottinger had to earn that one.
Nick Ottinger did have to earn that one. He did a very good job of earning that one at the end. And again, it's nice to see him break the unlucky streak he had to start this season to win a big race here at Indianapolis. At this juncture, we have 6 races left to go, 2 before we have the drop, or where the drop will come into play, and we'll have a final standing of where everyone's going to be. And at this point in the season, Tim, I think it's a matter of winners and losers. The winners are the guys who are going to stay up front, stay at the top of the field, and walk away with a little bit of cash for their efforts at the end of the season. The other half of the field are going to be fighting to be in that top 20 to get that automatic invite back into 2016. And at this point, everybody wants to be the winner. Nobody wants to be the loser. And Tim, I think we're going to start differentiating that in 2 weeks' time, when we go racing from Watkins Glen. We're really going to see who here is prepared to make it to that next level and prepared to return to the series next year with more maturity, more wisdom, so we can avoid some of the incidents we had tonight.
Heat of the moment, things do happen, but it's the way you handle yourself in those situations that plays out at the end and really shows a true test of character. And we've seen a couple of drivers boil over, maybe a little bit past that boiling point here this evening. We'll see what transpires over the next couple of weeks and we will see who shows up to race on the road at Watkins Glen International coming up in 2 weeks' time. But before we get there, we have another broadcast to take care of. It's next Tuesday. It's a NASCAR iRacing Class B Series. Going to want to be here for that. It was very exciting at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway last week, and we'll see what happens next time we hit the racetrack with the NASCAR iRacing Class B Series. Wherever you're tuned in now, you can tune in next Tuesday night to see that race, whether it's on Fans Choice, PSR TV, iRacing Live, MRN, the other affiliates that we do have carrying us throughout the World Wide Web. Be sure you're here in 1 week time for the NASCAR iRacing Class B Open Series. So for everybody on the PSR TV crew, Ian Bushing, and everybody in the New York studio, Chuck Johnson, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, and Joe Cortez, my name is Tim Terry. We'll see you next week when we say let's go racing with the NASCAR iRacing Class B Series. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track. Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.